welcome to episode number 90 of the Solo Gamer Podcast. I think I got that right. I didn't have it in front of me, so I had to go for
get it right.
memory. My memory. We did it. This is episode 90 of the Solo Gamer Podcast, and it's a beautiful Wednesday. You know what I realized today, Taylor?
What's up?
I came in here to get ready. It was like barely 7. It was like 6:58 or something. I sit down, and I bring my water in here, and I put my soda down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, something's different about this.
Yeah.
And I look around, I'm like, oh, it's still fucking daytime.
Right.
This is like the first time I noticed it. The sun is totally out. It's bright outside. It is daytime here.
Yeah.
And that just, it's like the first time I really noticed it. Maybe last week it was like rainy, so it was just kind of dark.
For sure.
But the sun is out. It is spring.
Dude, yeah, I know. I was wondering the same thing, actually, because I remember prior to daylight savings time. Or are we in daylight savings time now? I'm not sure.
No, because I think you're trying to save the daylight in the winter because it's darker earlier. Like
right, okay.
You're taking the daylight and you're adding it to the morning, so to speak.
Yeah. Us Arizona folk don't know nothing about that.
No,
so.
And it's like one of the only things I feel like. I mean, Arizona is ahead of everyone else on that. We gotta get that going.
Right.
I think it's nuts.
Oh, I totally agree. I can't be bothered with it, man. You guys just let me know what time you're doing your thing, and I'll figure it out.
Well, I've always had jobs that even when I was living in Arizona, it mattered what time it was. Like I was working at Discover Card, calling people. Mm-hmm. I was working in, at CH Robinson. I was working in shipping, and it mattered what time it was everywhere else. So even when you live in Arizona, you still have to deal with it all the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that's one of the reasons why I heard that Arizona has so many like contact center kind of jobs like that, too, is because we're not on the same time schedule as everybody else. Yeah. So that's why Bank of America and stuff has their like massive contact center out here and all that good stuff. So it makes sense, I guess.
It does. It does make sense. And I just it's just a weird thing. Like I can't believe it just hit me so hard. It was so bright in here. And I was like, oh man, the year is moving. We're like over almost halfway there.
I know. It's nuts, dude. So question then while we're here.
Yeah.
Do you prefer when it's lighter out later in the day, or do you like it when it gets darker earlier?
I realize that I love the transitional times of year.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoy it when it starts to become lighter out later because I've been dealing with early darkness for a long time.
Yeah.
And so my body is just like, oh, how nice. And you can go outside and it's not freezing. And I'm just enjoying the light, enjoying how beautiful it is outside. And there's birds and literally birds and bees everywhere. And everyone's walking their dog. It's great.
That's awesome.
And then when we get into the fall, I love that it's like, I keep looking, double checking the clock. Oh, it's only 6:30. What?
Right.
And it's cold and you get in your blankets and you play games and it's dark. And so I really appreciate them both. And I'm usually ready for them to be over by the time they're.
Yeah. As soon as you start getting sick of it, it's like it's already in the changeover.
Do you have a preference?
I feel like as I've gotten older, I'm backing up a little bit. I've always kind of fancied myself a little bit of a night owl.
Same.
I've always been somebody that stays up pretty late and tries to wake up as early as I can with that in mind, but sometimes it doesn't always happen. Like, I've definitely been a victim of sleeping into like 10, 11, sometimes 12 if it gets really bad. But I've kind of noticed as I've gotten older that I really prefer waking up early in the morning now. Like I still wouldn't consider myself like a morning person, like per se. Because it's really tough for me. Like usually I like in my work day, I try to schedule my first call of the day to be 2 hours after I start my shift or, start work, just so that way, like I can kind of wake up a little bit, get moving, drink some coffee, stuff like that. So, but I do love waking up early nowadays. And I find now as I've been older that like staying up super late and as a result waking up late kind of affects my mental health quite a bit.
Same.
Um, so I just feel like I'm finally in tune with that part of my body, and um, like I've been supplementing vitamin D also just to get like some happy because I don't get outside enough. I'm working from home, so it's like I'll have maybe a period of an hour or two a day where I'll like be out and about running errands or something. But that's the only sunlight I'm getting.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
tough.
been helpful.
Yeah, yeah, that's really important. I think it's hard when you're working from home, or even if you're working in an office. For me, it's my office is a 2 minute drive from my house,
Yeah,
so I go right into the office, and there's lots of natural light in there, but it's not the same as being out. Um, yeah, I don't. I find myself in a weird middle place with that, where I have a hard time going to bed early enough to get up early. I don't like being up until 2 or 3 or 4 like I used to. I'm
yeah,
pretty much, even on a Friday, Saturday night, I'm done by like 12 or 1. That's pretty
yeah,
much kind of when I'm, and I get up between like 8 and 9. If I could just live my life and I didn't have work, I'd probably go to sleep around midnight and get up between like 7:30 and 8:30 every day.
yeah,
Um, that's kind of my natural. So it's hard for me because I don't really get tired. I love getting up at like 6 in the morning and having a couple of hours before I have to go to work,
yeah,
and taking the dogs out and making coffee and just listening to a podcast or even playing a game if I'm in the mood, if I'm awake enough, that kind of a thing. I love that. But the problem is if I want to get enough sleep, that means I have to go to bed by like 10:30, and I'm just not sleepy. So I'm not trying to stay up crazy late, but my brain, I'm very much a like 11:30 to midnight, and then I kind of have to get up at like 7:15, and I got to get
yeah.
up, get dressed, and walk out the door unless I force myself out of bed at 7, and then I have a little time. So I'm struggling right now trying to figure out like kind of what my natural rhythm is.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, conflicts a little bit with my work schedule. I'd like to force myself to bed a little earlier and force myself awake a little earlier, and I think it'd be perfect, but it's easier
It's
said than
tough.
done. It's easier said than
Yeah,
done, because I just naturally get tired. It's like 11:30. I start yawning. I can just go to bed. I don't have to worry about it. I just go right to sleep. If I go to bed at 10, I just lie there and just like, my eyes are open. I'm like trying to shut them. Go to
just
sleep.
staring
Just
at the
go to sleep. Go
ceiling.
to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. It's just like, why do this?
Right,
Another hour and a half, and I will be ready to go to sleep.
right.
So it's a weird thing. So in case none of you noticed here in our opening conversation about weather and sleep patterns, no Kyle. We may still have Kyle. He's having some technical issues trying to get his monitors to work. Like they're not getting a signal, and he's messing with the switch, and he's unplugging and plugging stuff in, and just all kinds of stuff. So he's working on that. So we figured we'd just get started so we're not up too late in case he doesn't end up making it. We're hoping he'll make it by the time we're starting our ranking, because that
Hmm.
is what we're doing. Taylor, this was your
Yeah.
idea, and this was an excellent idea. What made you come up with this?
Yeah, well, so I remember back several episodes ago, or probably a couple years ago, I remember one of my favorite topics that we did on the show here was like ranking our favorite video game villains, I think it was. And I just had a lot of fun with that topic. It's just like so simple and so like distilled. Like it's not really getting like too in the weeds and getting too like um, technical with how we're talking about games. It's just like the villains that like mean a lot to us. So
Yeah,
I thought it would be cool to do the inverse and play around a little bit with this recording software that we have and maybe do like a little bit of a tier list thing.
love the tier
Um,
list.
I think a lot of our content so far has been very audio focused, and the video element is there for like the people that want to check it out. And it seems like that's been like a really good change from like our show from when we first started. Um, but yeah, just wanted to have like a little bit of a video element. I personally love watching tier list videos. I think they're interesting and fun. So I don't know. I just thought it'd be cool to change it up a little bit.
I think we should do some of this more often, because it seems that we get a lot of our traffic. Most of our traffic is actually YouTube.
Yeah.
Even though I probably inadvertently focused this more toward audio because I listen to audio podcasts, but that's kind of a dumb
Same.
way to go about it. A lot of people prefer YouTube, and it probably does make it a little more interesting than just staring at us, listening to us talk. There are
Yeah,
podcasts that I love that do that. That's just the 3 people, 4 people on camera talking, and that's great. But I do love the idea of spicing it up a little bit, maybe adding in the tier list or something else, um, just to make it a little watchable.
for sure.
I really want to get into more YouTube content creation as well.
Yeah, same.
It's just difficult. It's just difficult for me to not find the time. I have enough time, but it's like, do I want to dedicate that time away from hanging out with my fiance or hanging out or
Mm,
playing my own games on my own time or watching the show or going and seeing my family, whatever it is. Like, it is pretty time consuming, video editing, and you gotta play the game on your PC to record the footage, edit it, write the script, read it. I love that stuff, and I
me
enjoy
too.
making those things. But it is a ton. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
So I go back and forth.
it's kind of a full-time job without like at least the initial like recognition or like, it's just difficult, It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like losing weight or something when you're not seeing the progress happen, that it's kind of like you slowly peter off. That's how it is for me. Like I feel like anytime I start like a content creation thing, um and I've kicked around a lot of ideas, but it's mostly just kind of like one of those things where it's like I get to the editing, and the editing is where I'm like, I really just don't want to do this. And then second of all, it's kind of one of the things where it's like the thing I'm doing is not getting like a ton of traction. So
Sure.
I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. I mean, it was
Yeah.
fun.
You
It was
put the
fun to
work in.
make and it was fun to write, but like, it's nice to see some results or see people vibing with what you're doing. So it's tough.
I love editing. I don't know if you remember those. I was so proud and took so much time and effort into those game of the year
Oh yeah.
spliced together. I pick a song and I would like use the rhythm of the song to clip different videos of all the different games that we were nominating for game of the year for
Those
each
are
year for
fun.
CRHB. I loved those. I had so much fun just doing those. Um, yeah, so I
Me
don't know.
too.
Maybe streaming is kind of the middle ground there.
I've thought about that too.
Something like marathon, like maybe just streaming marathon, but it's like, I don't know. I'm not that good, so I'm okay. We'll talk about marathon. We need to talk. We need to have a place where we can just talk about marathon for like an hour and a half because I think I could
I
do it.
know. A marathon episode would be fun. I know we've
Yeah,
kicked around that idea,
it's a
so
lot of
that's
people. I
definitely in the
worry because
works.
I don't think there's a lot of people in our Discord or our community that are playing it. And I mean, we are the solo gamer podcast, so it's kind of funny for us to be like, let's talk about this PvP hardcore multiplayer shooter. But
Right.
it really does. I'm there for a lot of the same reasons that I play single player games. I think I love the context and the story and the art style and the atmosphere and the music and sound design. I mean, there's a lot there. It's not just like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, let's go kill some guys. Like there's
Right.
plenty of games like that.
Set some sweet clips.
Yeah, there's just something about it's a stealth game too. I'm a big stealth guy. I love stealth games. This is such a stealth game,
Yeah, I agree.
and it's just we'll get into it. We'll get into it. So we'll kind of run through what we've been playing without trying not to get lost down a marathon tunnel conversation,
Yeah.
which I could very well do.
Same.
What's other than marathon? What have you been playing, man?
Yeah, so this week has been pretty productive, I would say, from a video game standpoint. So, I guess one of the things that would be new for me this week that I picked up playing was me and Anna actually picked up playing Detroit Become Human.
Yes, okay, that's right. You were telling us a little bit about this. Love
Yeah,
that game.
yeah, it's wow, is it good so far? Yeah, my history with Quantic Dream is not super lengthy. I played through a little bit of Heavy Rain a long time ago at a friend's house with him, and he was like one of the only people I knew back in that generation who had a PS3. So like Heavy Rain, I got into because of him. Like The Last of Us, I got into because of him. Like he was the only one I knew that like had a PS3 back then, and it was like the fat generation
Oh
one
yeah.
PS3 too that had the backwards compatibility to it, which was cool. Um, so yeah, don't have a ton of experience with Quantic Dream, but I heard a lot about this game. It's one of Anna's like favorite games of all time. She loves a lot of the like very story heavy, like almost
Sure.
interactive movie
Yeah.
kind of things that they do. So she's played through a lot of them, and she's like, "You got to play through it." And it was mostly because I recently, me and Anna had taken up reading books again, and we talked about this I think last episode or the week before that, but I've just been kind of on a kick of reading a lot lately. So I read through Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which was good.
Oh, I'm
I
sensing a
think
butt.
I like the movie better. I think that Blade Runner, like the actual movie, I think is better, and I think conveys the themes a lot better than the book does. Um, I don't know. I just love the aesthetic of Blade Runner. I love the look and feel of it. And Electric Sheep to me kind of feels like the Jetsons or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of like very like retro future, like almost like what people in the 20s thought like the 2000s would look like, you know? So at least that's the imagery that it kind of like conjures in my head.
Sure.
Um so yeah,
Chrome and
yeah, just like little, like I think in the book they call the guns like laser blasters or something like very like rudimentary like that. So it's like laser pistol or I don't even know, something to that effect. So whereas like in Blade Runner they're guns
their
for the
guns.
most
Yeah.
part. Like they're not like laser blasters, like they're shooting like high velocity metal still. But yeah, I don't know, just weird. It was very good, and it wasn't a long read either. That was one of the things
Yeah.
I
It's like 100 pages or something, right?
200,
Oh,
yeah,
it's
like
200.
maybe just a
Okay.
little over 200. So I read it in like 2 weekends basically.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
um
I need to get back into reading. Fuck.
yeah, it was just an easy one to get under my belt. I was like, let me get back into it and just find something I could easily, a hurdle I could easily jump over, you know.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, that was kind of spawned from that conversation because I would talk to Anna about like the book and some of the differences between Blade Runner, and she was like, you should play Detroit Become Human because it's
Mm-hmm.
very like, you know, not too distant future kind of stuff about like what's going on with like AI, and it's very prescient. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. So the beginning mission, by the way, I think is such a good like microcosm and tutorial of like how to play the game too. Like was kind of one of those things where like I instantly, as soon as I was playing it, was like, oh, I understand wholly what this game is about,
Yep.
was trying to do. Like they have this very interesting mechanic of like you have to kind of investigate like the entire area of play before moving into the cutscene, and depending on like the items you discover or like the story beats that you find, like it affects the ending of that like event that's going on. So we talked about it a little bit in our text thread, but
Mm-hmm.
the beginning mission is there's like an android who is about to be like replaced by like this family that he's kind of hosting for, and he like takes the daughter hostage and he like holds her at gunpoint like over this like skyscraper, and you are tasked as like another android kind of coming in and acting as like a mediator, and you have to like go through the apartment, like put together the pieces of like what happened, put together pieces of the story, and then it gives you like a percentage meter on how successful you might be at like stopping whatever's going on. So it was kind of one of those things where it was like I could have spent more time and like got the like thing all the way up to like 100%, but I was like, let's just do 80. I'll do 80% and I'll just see what happens. So yeah, turns out I was able to save the girl at the beginning, and
Nice.
so yeah, it's just a perfect tutorial. I love when games have sections like that are like just super easy to grasp, and you're like, yeah, that's how you play the game.
So like marathon? No, not at all.
Yeah, right. No, not like Marathon.
Terrible, terrible onboarding. But I that I love that too, and I think I was more willing to just let whatever happen with that game once I realized it's relatively short. It's
Yeah,
like it's over in 4 or 5 hours or whatever, maybe 6 if you're really stopping and doing everything. But I think I mentioned last week it was one of the first games where the moment I beat it, I started over again
yeah,
because I just didn't feel like it was some Herculean task, and there was so much more that I could have done.
right.
And so the first time I just kind of went through it, just letting it happen, not saves coming, nothing like that. And then the next time I went through, I was like, okay, so what are the things I could have done differently? Let's look at a guide. Let's tailor it. Let's see how we can change. I just want to kind of see how it works behind the curtains now that I've had the actual just minute by minute experience where I wasn't sure what I was doing and I was just reacting.
Right.
It was cool to see both directions of that. And there's some magic dust in there, and sometimes things end up the same way regardless of the choices you make, but it's more about the journey, less about the destination, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I also love that in between screen too, like between the story beats, they have like a little like tree that kind of tells you like, oh, you found this gun
Oh,
or something
yes.
under the table, so that's how you got to this area.
That's
So
right. Yeah, it tells you that's right because it can go a completely different direction at that point. Yeah.
yeah,
And it makes you want to go back and see
right.
how it continues if you didn't find the gun under the table. So, very
Yeah,
cool. Fun game.
it's cool. I'm
Really
looking
fun
forward
game.
to it. I think it'll be the equivalent, I think, of a electric sheep, where it's just a little notch under the belt. I can finish the game and be like, I have a 12 game backlog
Write it off
goal
your
this
list.
year.
Goal.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
12, dude. That's awesome. How far are you in it?
I think I'm 4 in right now. I guess I shouldn't say backlog. It's like just games in general.
Yeah.
Complete 12 games in a year,
That's what I mean.
one a
That's
month.
I took it that way too. That's funny you said that.
Yeah.
I wanted to
So
see.
I think I'm at 4 or something this year so far.
I am at. When did we finish? That was last year. So I am at. I guess 3. I thought I was at a 4th one. Maybe I'm not thinking about. But yeah, it looks like I've beaten 3 games so far. Sword of the Sea, Horizon, and Resident Evil 7.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, well, maybe I was like, when did we do Alien Isolation? And it was like, no, that was last year because I think we did the experience point in like November or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So I'm trying to get 10 done, and I think I will be able to.
Yeah,
This year.
for sure.
What else you playing, man?
Yeah. So other than that, I did go back to Oblivion. That is something that I've been playing again.
Yeah, you've been in that for quite some time.
Yeah, and I've been kind of in and out of it. I'm still playing my Dark Elf Rogue, but I kind of had to have a little bit of a pivot because, I don't know. I found that completing the story as a roguish thief character is kind of difficult. So
Yeah,
I'm pivoting a little bit now because it's very difficult to like just do a lot of sneak damage and like walk up behind like a 3 clan fears and a like 2 Daedra guys.
it would take you 4 hours to get through every Oblivion gate.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the part of the story I'm on right now is I'm just currying favor with the other cities and closing their Oblivion gates. So I kind of stowed all my rogue gear for now, and I have like heavy armor and just a 2-handed sword, and I'm just kind of brute forcing my way through it, so that way I can kind of just beat the story. And then I think I'll create another character at some point in time when I want to go back to it. But yeah, I've done Dark Brotherhood. I've done the Thieves Guild stuff. So I was thinking about doing Fighters Guild, but I'm kind of at the point now where I just kind of want to finish it out and then save it for another playthrough at a different time. So
Yeah,
yeah, at this point, it's just about kind of finishing up the main story and then maybe doing a side quest here or there that maybe I didn't do, 10 years ago when I played it, and just seeing what sticks out to me. So
for sure. No, I think it makes sense. Obviously, you're playing Marathon. I don't know if we want to get too into that because we got a big show ahead of us here.
yeah,
It's hard not to. Are you still loving it?
I'm loving it. Yeah. Just been playing here and there. We had 2 really good sessions, I think, of us all 3 playing together, which has been fun. So
we played for like 6 hours on Sunday combined.
Dude, yeah, and that time flew by too. It felt like
I could
less
do it
than
again every day.
I know, dude. It's so fun, man. So I'm still working on well, not anymore. I was working on unlocking all the sponsors, but I just finished my last one last night. So now I'm just kind of trying to expand my inventory space, and then I'm really like trying to get to Cryo Archive, man. I want to see what it's all
Me
about.
too. I
So
haven't even been to Outpost yet. I'm just trying to do all my. I've just been doing my contracts in Dire Marsh, basically. That's pretty much all
yeah,
I've been doing. So,
it's yeah, it's been fun, man. I've been loving it. I've been loving playing with you guys. I've been loving
mhm.
playing it solo.
Me
So
too.
that's like all you can ask for, right? Like
Do you
it's
play as a different class? Do for because I've been playing as a different class in a group with you guys, and I've been playing as a different class solo.
yeah. I've been playing. So in the two times that we've played together, I played as triage.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
So I've been doing a lot of healing and stuff like that, which is fun. I think he's got a lot of good utility on the healing side, but also like he's got some pretty good damage dealing abilities too.
He's kind of
So
a must-have
for
in
sure,
a group setting.
yeah. And he puts out good damage too. Like
Hmm.
he has like this weird like defibrillator move where like his hands pop open and there's like ropes that shoot out to like revive somebody. And I've discovered the last time that we played that you can actually use it as a weapon and kill people with it. So I like downed somebody with the defibrillator and I was like, "Oh, that is sick. It was
That is
awesome."
very cool. That's very cool.
I think what it is like it instead of like reviving you if you're a downed teammate, it will like shock the enemy like it almost does like shock damage, which would make sense, I
Yeah,
guess, if
makes
it's
a
a
lot of sense.
defibrillator.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Pop the shields or whatever. Yeah, it makes sense that that works that way. It's cool that they did that, and they don't even really tell you. You just tried it once, and there's a lot of that in this game. We're like, oh, I can do that. That's pretty
Right.
cool.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things too where I love a game. Usually, I don't like in games when they have a healing character or like a healing class, and it's not fun to play because you're not doing like any damage.
Yeah, it's like everyone's
Um,
like, hey, just shut up and get in the back, and when I need health, you
yeah,
be there for me. Otherwise, I don't want to hear from you.
yeah, and
It's
I've always hated that. Like, it's one of the things I love about like retail World of Warcraft is because a lot of the healing classes, like after they're done healing everybody up, they can also do damage, and it's
yeah,
not like anything crazy, but like you can put up like decent numbers by yourself, like when you don't have nothing to do, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's like unlike I think the opposite of what you're talking about. A bad example. I remember when it first came out in 2016 that we were playing Overwatch. I
Yeah,
was so bad at Overwatch that I just played as the healer because it was just like, well, at least I can just kind of jump in and help,
yeah,
But it I did feel kind of useless if there wasn't really the need for it. So yeah, it's cool that you can still be just as badass as the triage. The triage is a cool looking character too.
oh, super
All of
cool.
them look so fucking sick. I'm
Yeah,
I'm just so in love with the art direction. I I'm already guilty. I can tell of being. I'm definitely going to become a recon hipster
yeah.
because they just really buffed
You're gonna
recon.
gatekeep.
We're gonna start seeing everyone playing recon now, even though I saw everything before the patch and how they're like, huh, recon's always the one getting killed in the videos because they suck.
That's so funny.
And now I'm like, oh yeah, who's sucking now? All
Who's
right,
sucking now?
because the recon is badass now, and
Guess
I
what,
cannot
buddy?
wait to play. And I was already playing as the recon.
Right. Well, now you can distinguish between robots and humans,
Yeah.
so watch out.
Oh man, and the little drone spider bot is also way more effective. And they I think they lowered the cooldown for it so you can throw them more often, and they don't go as fast, so they don't miss the turns. I guess that's what was
Thank God.
they were
Yeah.
moving so fast they would just miss turning like 90 degrees to go after someone and then blow up. So they really fixed it, and I was watching a gameplay video of someone playing with as recon and using the ping and being able to see the specific runners where they are. I was like, oh yes, and they can't tell as easily where you're coming from like before, where you could very clearly see it was emanating from a specific area, so you kind of knew where they were too.
Yeah.
It was kind of lame, but
It
it was
was.
useful to know where enemies were or if any enemies were nearby. So I can't wait now. I cannot wait to play with you guys and be even more useful with recon.
For sure. Well, I think almost now with that buff happening, I feel like it's got to be in the meta now. Like I feel like there's probably a meta team trio that you have to roll out with.
Yeah,
And now
feels
that
like
you can
triage,
distinguish,
recon, and any
A
of the
damage
damage dealers,
dealer.
basically like Vandal or Destroyer,
Yeah.
I would think. To me, Thief is my solo. I know everyone's playing as Assassin. I get it because you can be invisible and it's
Yeah.
very useful. But I love Thief. I
Me
love
too.
being able to see how good of an item is in containers before you waste the time even looking in them. I love finding a little place to hide and setting up a claymore in an entrance of a room and then flying your drone around an area and marking everything. And it's just
Yeah.
cool. I mean, it's really, really useful for a solo
Solo
playthrough.
play.
Because
For
usually
sure.
when I'm playing solo, I'm just trying to get a contract done. So I don't even really want to get into a fight unless I have to.
Right.
So Thief and Assassin are clearly like kind of the two that you pretty much see all the time soloing.
Yeah, for sure.
Which makes sense.
I think that those are the best ones to play as. But yeah, Thief I've also enjoyed playing solo too. It's just when you need some good gear, that's another thing too, is if you like get into a map and you realize that you're kind of screwed and you can't really do your contract, like the least you can do is find like a blue crate or like a green crate, get some good loot, and then get out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Restart again. Yeah, I think I'm too much of a goblin right now. My vault is kind of full and
mine is
so
too now.
but I kind of, it's not even that I don't want to lose it. I'm totally fine with losing stuff. It's just that's the way the game is. You're not meant to hold on to these things forever.
Yeah.
But I want to save my good stuff for when we all get to play.
Yeah,
To
agreed.
be as effective as possible. But I'm getting to the point where it's like, if I play solo, I'm just going to have to bring some shit with me because there's not much. I don't have any room left to bring anything back.
Yeah, that's a good strategy too. I feel like playing solo, like it's nice and low risk to just go in with a free kit and gather your stuff,
Just
and then
sneak
once you
around,
get in your
avoid people if
squad,
you can.
yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
then
when you can
load up
bring
with
out the
their
big
squad.
guns.
Yep, bring a couple for me greens, maybe a blue and a green, and the shield generator, shield pack, and all the cores, and just like really set yourself up for success. And maybe you get slaughtered right off the bat, but that's just it. I mean, that's what makes it
Yeah,
fun in the
it's the
first
nature of the
place.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still playing Pokemon?
Yep. Still playing Pokemon. I'm on Victory Road right now, so I'm like right in the lead up to the Elite Four. So I'm almost done. I'm like that, like right there. So not much more to say on it, but
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
almost
I
done.
can't wait. I can't wait to be like to hear that you did it.
Yeah.
You're finished, and you spent a lot of time with that one. It's awesome. I need to play it. Still haven't even started it. There's just so much going on.
Yeah. Well, I would have finished it a lot earlier had I not been trying to do the Pokédex thing. That's going to
Sure.
be kind of a stretch goal, if
Yeah.
you will, throughout the
It's
year.
like me and
So
ESO or whatever, where it's like someday I'll have all this stuff done. I don't really care when that happens.
right, yeah, and I guess technically right now you like can't complete the Pokédex because there are some Pokemon that were only available during like certain events. So I'm sure
Okay.
at some point in the future, because they're making Leaf Green and Fire Red compatible with their like bank or their like Pokemon
For the
Home
trading.
system, yeah, for like trading and stuff. So like eventually you'll be able to bring like your Fire Red and Leaf Green Pokemon up over to like Gen 10 or whatever the new Pokemon games are. So
That's cool.
I assume they're going to run through all of the events and stuff too that they did back in the day.
That's very cool. They can keep updating, bring some old games kind of up into the modern era, and just keep updating them. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, about time, man. Especially for some of those old Pokemon games. I just saw that one of the local game stores here in Phoenix. Like I follow all the retro video game stores, and they'll post like really high profile trades that they get. So somebody just traded in a Leaf Green, like a complete in-box copy of Leaf Green and Soul
Wow.
Silver for like one. The Soul Silver is going for like 230 and Leaf Green's going for like 400. So um yeah, it's prior to that coming over, that was the only place you could play them. So
Wow.
was on original hardware. So I'm glad that they're actually doing that.
I gotta see if there's any good like video game stores that are local here. I know we have a couple of Magic stores, and I
Mm-hmm.
think we have like a kind of a Games Workshop style big time board game. We have a couple of
Tabletop.
those, but I don't think we have. I'm trying to think. I don't think we have like a retro game store where I would love to, because I always am looking for original Xbox games.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of 360 as well, but original Xbox games. I always am looking for complete in box versions of a lot of almost anything really. That's kind of what I want to keep collecting. So um, I don't. If I had one, I would be there too much. So maybe I shouldn't
Right.
even look. When you
Well,
come to
there was
Seattle,
a
we'll have to go to some.
oh for sure. There's already one I know for sure in Seattle that I want to check out, but I'm sure there'll be plenty more.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I'll be quick with mine. Started Resident Evil 8 with Alicia.
Nice.
Holy crap! What an intro! What an intro!
Right, dude.
I'm so glad that I didn't really look at anything about this game, outside of just the basic stuff in the beginning of like Lady
Dimitrescu.
Dimitrescu. That's what it is. Obviously that she went viral and all that. So I know what she looks like, but I don't know anything
Vampire
about
mommy.
her yet. I don't understand. It's so funny because in the first game in 7, they're so. This is in Louisiana. We're in Louisiana. We're in the swamp. We're in, like they say it like 50
Right.
times, and they talk about it again in the intro. And then this game, they're not saying where they are, and they're definitely not in the U.S.
No, I think
But
that they're
no one has accents either, so it's like this weird thing where I'm in this village at the very beginning, and he's like, "Hey, Bob," I'm like, "Well, what the fuck? Okay, where are we?" Because that
Right.
castle is not in the United States of America.
no.
That shit's in like Romania. Is what
I
it
was gonna
looks like.
say I assumed it was in like a Romania or
Yeah.
like what would have been like Transylvania kind
It's
of thing.
just so funny because everyone's just speaking American English, and
Yeah.
like I can't tell where we are, but it's
That was like that was the funny thing too, is like, but at least in Resident Evil 4, like the characters, like the like locals to
they were in
Resident Evil 4 are
Spain.
speaking Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they there's like mention of it where you are. They always
yeah.
kind of, and they don't never say where Raccoon City is. I don't think. I think it's sort of like a Chicago-ish. I always got the feeling that it was in the Midwest for some reason. I don't know if that's true.
I thought it was in Pacific Northwest actually.
Oh,
But
really? Okay.
yeah, that's what I always thought. But I thought Silent Hill was also in the Pacific Northwest too, but I guess it's supposed to be in Maine.
Oh,
So
well, that kind of makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's just they're either really clear about where it takes place, or they just don't really broach it at all.
Yeah. It's kind of
So-
like one of those things where it's like it's probably like a parable to like a real life city, like I think about how Gotham City is technically supposed to be like New Jersey.
Yeah, it's like Newark or whatever. The whole part of the New Jersey City that's right there across
Yeah.
the Hudson.
Cuz it's supposed to be like Metropolis where Superman is that's New York,
Yep.
and then Gotham is New Jersey. So
It's right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
I kind of love shit like that though.
Me
where
too.
It's like it's not the actual city. It's kind of like a parody of
It's a
it.
parody. Yeah, absolutely. No, it is fun. It is fun when they do that. So yeah, I got to the point where there's this point where you're just being relentlessly attacked by endless waves of, I guess they're werewolves.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I paused it and I was like, I don't know what to do. This has been going on now for 4 minutes. It feels like I'm just running. I have no ammo. I'm just running. I was like, I'm missing something. And then it finally ends and a cutscene goes. I was like, oh, okay, that was just that's
Right.
I was doing it right. I was just running around trying not to die. That's all I had to do.
Yeah.
There was no specific area I had to go into or whatever. It was cool. I felt completely just hopelessly overwhelmed and not knowing what to do. So really, really, really cool intro. I already like this one more than 7, I think. Just from the sense of not objectively like, oh, this is clearly a better game. I don't know about that yet, but I'm more excited to keep going and explore. Whereas with Resident Evil 7, it was like pick up the controller. I was like, okay, here we go. Let's get through this next fucking part of this house, this disgusting house.
Yeah.
Where here I'm like,
This
is cool. I mean, this is like this sort of Transylvania foggy castle. This is awesome. I want to go explore, even though it will be scary. I'm excited to see more. I was never really excited to see the next gross room.
Dude, I can't wait. There's a part in the game that I can't wait for you to get to. That episode, you got to talk about it it happens, because I'm so excited to hear your
Yeah,
reaction.
I'm blown away by the intro. I was absolutely blown away by the intro. I was like, this is already way better than I was expecting for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah,
So yeah, loving that. Space Marine 2, what a game. Just unabashedly a game. Like, hey, my name is a video game, and we're gonna
really
be a
quick,
video
I'm
game.
gonna let my cat out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Step back for just a second.
Yeah, so we're waiting on Kyle as well. So just while Taylor gets up here, I haven't heard from Kyle. We're about to start the actual part of the show here, so I'm gonna text him now and just let him know. Okay, we are about 5 minutes away from our ranking of video game protagonists. So we'll let him know and we'll see what happens.
Okay, sorry. These cats are like
They went in, they went out. They went in, they went out.
Well, they'll stay in the office with me when the episode starts, and I'm like, "You want to leave? You want to go?" And they're just sitting there, just watching me.
Like, no.
So then, halfway through the show, it seems like now they've been like, "All right, hour into Dad's show, it's time to get out of here." So then they stand in front of the door and just go.
They're like, "Oh, hello."
Right.
Yeah, I usually don't let my dogs in here. Though, if they can get into the bathroom, which is right here, it's like our house is kind of like a loop. So there's a door behind me, and then you can go around and enter the bathroom from either side.
Yeah.
And this door right here doesn't really, like the bathroom door doesn't shut, like lock, close.
Yeah.
So the dog can just push on it and it'll open.
Right.
So sometimes I'll just be in here and all will just be like, she'll just come in and just start jumping up onto my lap.
You get a containment breach.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, dude, Space Marine 2, just absolutely loving it. It's like a perfect game to play for an hour. It's just a total power fantasy. It's the most gamiest, unapologetic game. Like I said last week, just 360 era, like, hey, stay in this area while you get just onslaught for 5 minutes.
Right.
And just it kind of has the Doom loop. It doesn't play anything like Doom. Obviously, Doom is super fast and fluid and chaotic and great in its own way. But the idea of viciously executing enemies for health and armor.
Yeah.
So if you have like armor and then you have health, kind of like original Halo. And if you can replace your armor by just violently ripping people in half, and it is just an unapologetic, violent, badass simulator. I'm playing on normal difficulty. I was like, sometimes I forget that I have like a God of War Spartan mode. I was like, I don't even need this.
Right.
I'm taking these guys down. I'm so powerful. Every now I've died like one time. There was one time that I've died so far. So maybe if I played it again or played on co-op with one of you guys or something, I'll put it up to hard because it's definitely a little too easy. But it's perfect for me after a scary game or after some stressful marathon. Like, just put that on and just wade through the enemy's blood. It's pretty great, and it's beautiful, and it's a blast, and the story is good. I would definitely recommend playing the first one.
I think I will at some point.
Not that the story is so intricate that it would just be way over your head if you didn't. But it's more fun having played the first one. It's on Game Pass. It's remastered, and it's like 5 hours long. And Kyle has arrived.
Welcome.
He just didn't want to talk about what we're playing. That's all. He just was like, it's time for ranking. I guess I'll show up.
Right.
Yo.
Did you figure? That. No, it's okay. What happened? Did you figure it out?
Apparently, HDMI cords don't work when Windows has to update. So I don't know what that's all about.
What?
That's
really
so
weird.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah.
I unplugged all of them, plugged them back in. And you could tell that like something was happening because like the screen would kind of adjust and then it would say no signal. So it's like, so you're recognizing there's something being sent to you. It's just you're not able to connect for some reason. And then so then I do the update, it resets, and then everything is just like perfectly normal.
Weird. Fucking Windows, man.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, we're just pretty much finishing up what we're playing. I was gonna we dabbled on the marathon topic. We actually are planning on doing a marathon episode at some point because there's just too much to say, and I can just go and go
Yeah.
and go
We
and
just-
talk about marathon and listen to you guys talk about marathon. So we'll probably do that at some point. I just wanted to let you know because I want to talk about it more. So we promise to do that at some point.
That's all we've been talking about, really.
Yeah, dude, it's all I've been thinking
basically-
about. It's pretty much all I can think about, you know. In fact, you know what? Ellie's S tier. We'll see you. We're gonna go play some marathon.
You're right.
So yeah, so we'll do an episode on that. The last game that I wanted to talk about before we jump into the ranking. I just started it today. It came out yesterday. I bought it because I've been waiting for this game for a really long time. It was only $20. Is Replaced.
Oh, I
the-
saw that. Yeah.
Kind of like 2.5 but 3D but pixel art side-scrolling cyberpunk game.
Oh yeah.
It's really difficult to explain what it looks like, the art, not the art style but the dimensions, because there are times where it looks like a completely old school 2D game, and then the camera will move in such a way that you're like, oh whoa, everything is 3D. And it's very, very fun. The music is just awesome. Story is very interesting so far. I've only played it for like 45 minutes or something, like not even that, probably half an hour. Just got it started. I'm playing it on my Ally. It's the type of game that I wanted a handheld for. It's running it great. There's some hitchiness, but I looked it up and I looked it up and apparently that's just the game. Doesn't matter what you're playing it on. So they might have some early technical hiccups,
Patching to do.
Yeah, something like that. But it's absolutely beautiful, and I was kind of struggling with how to play it. Like the controls are like the way that you jump, you kind of have to anticipate and hold it down instead of jumping right at the moment that you need to jump. So I was dying a bunch in this first section and getting super frustrated, and then I just kind of figured it out. I was like, oh, okay. Like I really like I hold this button down and hit it early. Okay. Just little things like that, getting used to a new game. But so far, definitely would recommend. I mean, $20 is hard to, or if you have Game Pass, but it's Game Pass Ultimate only.
Yeah.
Because it's a day one release. So I just bought it. I like to buy games anyway. So $20. It's Xbox Play Anywhere. So I can play it on my Ally. I can play it on my console. I can play it anywhere I want. So
it's awesome.
Well, they might make it more affordable here soon. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. There's all kinds of rumors going around. They're talking. Apparently, they're discussing exclusivity again and all this stuff. So we'll see. It's all just talk for now. But yeah, I'm very curious.
I think I'll buy that for my Steam Deck. That sounds like a fun Steam Deck
yes,
game.
That's a perfect Steam Deck game. Perfect Steam Deck game. It's really, really good so far. I'm already very invested in the story. Like just kind of the setup of what's going on, and there's a mystery, and you don't know what's happening and why what's happening is happening to you, and just the art is gorgeous. I mean, it's right up all of our alley. We're all suckers for that cyberpunk look and feel, and it's 100% that. I mean, it's Blade Runner 2D basically.
That's awesome.
And apparently the combat's super cool. I haven't even gotten into any combat yet. I've just been running away from everybody. So hopefully here soon we'll be getting into some fights, and I'll be able to report back a little bit more robustly next week after I've had some real time to play it.
Heck yeah, man.
Kyle, you made it right here at the very end. Is there any games you wanted to talk about before we're about to jump into our rankings?
I'm sure you guys have talked about it enough with Marathon. That's been one of the big
we're going to do a whole episode about it.
Yeah, time slots of what I've been doing. I played a little bit of Starfield. That's all just been on my ROG Ally, and nothing really much to report there. I just did my New Game Plus and kind of going through a lot of the preliminary missions to kind of get things set up, get a good ship, stuff like that. So nothing exciting happening yet. And then, getting a little bit further in Dead Cells. It's kind of fun. I'm starting to learn how to play these roguelike games a little bit more. In the beginning, I was like, cool, you kill the enemies, you get like some more like of those resources that you can use to like spend stuff on. But then I started realizing I was like, a lot of this stuff is actually timed, and you need to get through these levels within a certain time frame. And also, it's kind of not worth the risk when everything resets. Once you start building your character up, he's got a bunch of health, and you're like, I really don't want to die now. You know,
Mhm.
you start realizing it's like I actually just need to get through these levels, and I shouldn't be worrying about fighting everything that I see.
Right.
Right.
Just jumping over them or going underneath or whatever, avoiding them. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you almost kind of want to get through the level and avoid as much contact as possible. Like, sure, they give you stuff, but if you can actually get through the levels within that time frame that you need to get through the level, you actually get a bunch of bonuses from it anyways. And then, of course, like, again, you don't die and reset everything all over again. So it's like, it's not really worth the risk. So if I can, I'm honestly just trying to move through, and I'll fight what I have to fight and get through. But outside of that, it's like, you just want to get through the levels. So it's been kind of cool learning how to play those games because I haven't really touched them a whole lot.
Yeah, they're fun, man. I kind of had a like an attitude for a while where I kind of thought they weren't for me, and then I played like 2 or 3 of them that I thought were really really high quality, and yeah, they're awesome. I honestly love one thing too. I love to do is look up like what the most broken like build is or item is, so that way if I see it like in the store or whatever, if I see it in the level, like just picking that up. Like I was doing that with Hades, where like there were like 2 or 3 different like little weapons or item combinations that you could do that would just like melt the enemies, and it was so fun to just like you know just steamroll those first couple levels.
Yeah, Hades and Returnal are the 2 roguelikes that I desperately want to love.
Yeah, dude, Returnal's so good.
I love everything about those games other than the fact that they are roguelikes.
Yeah.
So I really want to try and figure out a way to kind of get past my hang-ups on those.
I think that's a good point, though, Taylor, because I think maybe I should start doing that too. Because I think it's just kind of, with that type of game, it's more of a like quality of life buff to get insight on like how to play the game optimally,
Yeah, like why not? Right?
Why wouldn't you do that? Because it's not an enjoyable experience when I have gotten far enough and my health was getting pretty high and I was getting really good items and then I died. I was like, all right, like it makes me, I have to stop. Like I'd be like, all right, I'll play this. Yes. I'll play this tomorrow. Like
that's what my momentum just gets destroyed, and then I just give up.
Yeah. In my opinion, too, it's like the main thrust of those games for me are the boss fight mechanics too. So like anything that helps me get to the boss fight, so I can see the mechanics, like that's where like the real learning curve comes in, because like especially in Hades, I remember like some of those
Hades boss fights are so fun.
They're so fun. They have multiple phases, but they're really hard. So it's kind of like anything I can do to like give myself a little bit of a boost through the level until I can get to the boss, like I'm gonna do that. So
they just dropped Hades 2 on Game Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm gonna definitely. Hades is like the next. I actually already have it downloaded. Hades
1 is so good.
Yeah,
it's very good. I just have never. I've gotten like a few bosses in, and then the same thing. I'm just like, I just can't. I can't start from the beginning again. I just can't do it. I just get so discouraged.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe times will change. And I would love to play Returnal co-op at some point. I think that
we definitely need to do that,
because that game is. So
I was gonna say,
fun.
if you get Saros, I'll play Saros co-op with you if you want.
What's funny is I'd love that. But my brain is like, I love that idea, but it's like, dude, if I get time to play online with you guys, I want to play Marathon. It's all I want to do.
Dude, honestly, understandable.
It's hard for me to play another game. I was just saying I started Resident Evil 8 with Alicia, which is great because if we're playing a game together, then we're playing that, and I don't have a choice, and it's a good thing for me because I enjoy playing something else. And then like Space Marine has been kind of my calm down after marathon game, or like I only have an hour and I'm going to play that and I can make some progress because it's probably like 8 hours long anyways.
Right.
But like outside of that, all I want to do is play Marathon. It's like all I'm thinking about. There's times where I'm laying in bed and I'm like, I got a lot of stuff in my vault. You know what I'm thinking about?
Right. What to sell?
I finished, Kyle. I got that contract done. That Traxxas one. I got it done today.
No way.
Yeah. I just like we said, man, I just happened to spawn right next to maintenance, walked in, grabbed them both, walked out, done.
Yeah, you don't even have to exfil.
It's
it. Like you just need to get there first.
I just need to get there, and then I exfilled. The exfil was also right there, so it was all. I was done in like 20 minutes, and I got it done. And I unlocked a new skin for Thief too, which is sick.
Nice.
Did you get it felt like green and black.
No, not yet. I need to get that one. I need to. If you get those first skins by from each faction by exfilling with a free kit from that faction.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I haven't exfilled with on a free kit from Cyber Acme. Now that I know that, next time I see a Cyber Acme free kit, I'm just gonna do a quick run with every character to unlock that black and green on all of them.
Yeah,
and then Traxxas is like the red. They're orange and black, but the skins look red and black to me. So I don't really get that. I don't really get it, but
what about
still
the Arachne one is then?
Yeah, they both are just like different patterns. They just look a little different, but
interesting.
That mission felt like I was just gonna say that mission you were on felt like one of those missions that everybody kind of gets stuck on, and then you end up in this scenario where everybody who's dropping in that map is all on the same mission.
They all need that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And then eventually, if you're stuck on it long enough, you just go do other stuff for long enough, you'll come back and there's less people now doing that mission. It's just not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
I was just sneaking around stabbing robots in the head, and then grabbed what I needed. The thief is perfect for those kinds of. We were just talking about this. The thief is perfect for those kinds of contracts because you can just look and see if it's green. I knew it had to be green, so it's like I would just be searching all the containers, and I would only go to the green ones. So it would save me a lot of time and a lot of risk because I knew exactly where I needed to go. And if it wasn't in that one, then I'm going into that green one over there, and that's all I had to worry about. And it took me like 2 seconds. I was in there and I found the two things I needed, and I was out in no time. I was like, oh, thank God.
Right.
So are we ready? This is perfect. Kyle just dropped in and we're good to go. Are we ready to do our ranking here? We're an hour into the show.
Excited.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Halftime.
All right, there you go.
Okay. Taylor, I'm going to have you, how about you? I want you to kind of lead this thing. You built this beautiful tier list for us with all the images, and this was your episode, your idea, so you are taking over as host starting now. You lead us through.
I love these things.
Let's do it.
You can delegate and all that good stuff.
We were just talking about this earlier. I love a good tier list. I personally enjoy watching content where people are kind of ranking things. So the interesting thing about this grouping, as everybody can see now, for the audio listeners, definitely watch the video for this portion. I think it will enhance your experience. But yeah, we got a very interesting cropping of characters from this. So as most people know, we have a Discord where we solicit questions from the audience and things like that. So we wanted to post this on there and get some submissions for some characters. So some of these were kind of characters that we were like, oh, we absolutely know that this person's going to be on here. Some of them weren't as obvious. So we have a very eclectic mix here. So
we are missing some big hitters too, which is funny.
We are. But in a way, I kind of like that because I feel like had we had the big mascot characters or whatever,
Mario,
yeah, we might have to put those highly rated, just for their iconicness alone. So I kind of like this weird, like little like hodgepodge that we got going on. But Kyle, you kind of took a look at some of the write-ins and you could see some of the characters that we've got on the screen here. So just initially from you kind of taking a look at what we've got here, what's your opinion on this this grouping?
This is gonna be hard, dude. Yeah, I mean, and some of them I'm gonna need your help and kind of lean on you a little bit more. But man, there are some classics here.
Yeah, there's some in here that I don't even know a ton about either. So
a couple that I'm like, oh yeah, I would have said that, and we kind of try to throw these together over a couple days, and I see some of them now, like gosh, who was I just looking at? Oh, Mael. I was like, oh yeah, well, why didn't I think of Mael? That's a great idea.
Newer edition.
Well, what's funny about that is with that game, you can technically say they're all the protagonists because you can play as all of them. You're playing as all of them. You can immediately switch from each one as you're exploring the overworld too. So
yeah, the
whole crew is kind of a protagonist. Funny enough, from our rigid, like our definition that we needed to use to apply to this. Because like the hard part for me when you first brought this up, Taylor, I was like, I didn't really take the protagonist word quite right in my head. I was just thinking about great video game characters. I was like, ooh, like Garrus and Rex. I'm like, oh, okay, no. these are the main character of the game. They are who you play as, at least partially.
Yeah.
And they are generally, you could make if they're narrative games, you could make a argument that they are as important to the narrative as anyone else. So you have to play it. You have to be able to play as them. So
Right.
that's kind of it. Those were our rules. What I'm most interested in before we get started is just the fact, the difference between, like, you could have two characters that are S tier for completely different reasons. So like you have, I won't use examples because we're going to talk about all these characters, but you could have one character that's S tier because they are written and performed brilliantly, and they are maybe like one of the best, most like deep characters in video gaming. And then right next to them, you could just have one that barely says a word, that is just pure like iconoclast, and they're the face of what video games are to people who don't even play games. And both of those could represent S tier for completely different reasons. So I think that's what I'm excited about, is like parsing out why two characters might be on the same line, even though they're for completely different reasons.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm interested to see kind of like what the response is like from people watching the video here too. It should be fun.
Somebody's gonna hate us.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, Ian, I mean, you've seen this already. You've kind of commented on it a little bit, but any like entries here so far that you're like, wow, interesting choice, or maybe some that you didn't expect? How does this group of characters look to you?
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? It makes me kind of proud because I feel like this set of characters is maybe the best sort of macro example of like what our show is all about.
Yeah.
We are missing a lot of major faces from video games overall. But I feel like pretty much every single game listed here has been discussed at great length at some point on our show. Like there's some combination of all of these that between the three of us, we're all very knowledgeable about, and we all love and are very passionate about at different levels. There'll be some that I am going to be over here carrying a lot about that you guys would be like, I've never even played this game. But all together, it's like this. It is the solo gamer. It's our community. It's the three of us. It's like it feels so heavily influenced to our taste, and that's why I think it's really cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's going to be interesting, and there's a lot of games in here that I know mean a lot to the three of us too, and also to the audience. I know some of our listeners. Some of these are some of their favorite characters, so it'll be cool.
It's gonna make me like want to play some of these games
for sure.
I feel like
yes,
yeah,
like that's the top left. That's a Castlevania character, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Alucard.
Okay, yeah, like those are one of the type of games that I've been wanting to play, and now that I've got my Rogue Ally, it might be a perfect time to do it.
I know.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, I guess just to kind of set this up a little bit too here, we have the thing about the tier list here is we can kind of change around and add boxes if we want to. Starting off, I always think 5 categories is kind of the best thing to do for tier list rankings, because I always think about it like this. S tier would be like your best, most iconic or whatever. Below that would be like an above average. The middle would be average. Below average, worst,
and actively bad. You think we'll have any in D here? I feel like the one thing about
I don't think so.
A lot of all of these characters pretty much come from games that we really enjoy.
Yeah, D feels a bit disrespectful.
Yeah,
I think we'd have to intentionally put some bad ones out.
Right.
I think
exactly.
I think there's also. I was also thinking too, like, do we want to do D and instead just do F? But yeah, I think that like D would just be like the ones that probably are like the least special to us, or maybe like the ones that like maybe I have like a affinity for this like one character, but I could recognize the fact that they're not gonna like win like best character ever kind of thing. Right?
But that doesn't mean you're gonna put them in D, you know?
Well, I mean, somebody's got to go in D.
We'll see. Okay. Oh man, that's gonna be great. I'm looking at this, and I have like maybe 2 that I would maybe 3 at the most that would be in D. And I'm curious.
Yeah,
if
I
we
do
agree
too.
on those.
I've probably got about the same number.
All right, let's duke it out.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. So
ahead,
I don't know.
take
How
us
do we
off,
want to
Taylor.
start this? Do we want to just do like straight left to right, or just like get the easy ones out of the way? How do you guys want to structure it?
Well, what do you think, Kyle? Do you have an opinion on that?
So I think we need to keep the door open to be able to adjust as we go.
After we look too at the end.
Yeah. Because we need to be able to go like, okay, maybe we threw this in S tier too early, or maybe this needs to be up in S tier because we've thought about it compared to everything else. That's the only thing I will say. I think the way to make it easier is just, I guess, make it simple, go left to right,
Okay.
And I also want to say, I say let's just go left to right, because I think that really, looking at that, there's going to be a lot of different rankings from that, as opposed to starting with the easy ones. I would say that I am in the sports world, especially baseball, but football as well. There's kind of a debate between the celebration of the best players in history, which is the Hall of Fame. And like, there's a group of people in sports that say they believe in the small hall. Like, if there's really any doubt with someone's in the Hall of Fame at all, if you can make a good argument at all, they're not a Hall of Famer. They have to be like, that's the thing, right? Like, so that's how I'm just letting you guys know. That's how I approach S tier. Like, I think there should only be a handful in S, because that's like the ultimate compliment, right?
Right.
Yeah. If everybody gets in, nobody gets in.
If there's like 8 people in S tier, it's like, okay, so it's pretty easy to make S tier then.
Yeah, for sure.
Small hall.
I agree. S tier is pretty elite. So I think I'll have more of a discernment for people being in S tier than I would D tier, to be honest. Because at the end of the day, I don't really view it as like saying that this is a bad character. It's more of like, it's got to, if it was numbered, it might even be better, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's gotta mean something.
It's because of the D is like, it makes you think of like a grading system.
Grade, yeah.
All right. Well, let's just go ahead and get kicked off here. We'll do left to right and see how it goes. But yeah, we'll start off with Alucard. So, give people some background. Alucard is the main character of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which released on PS1 back in the late 90s. Just to give you a little bit of info into Alucard, Alucard is the son of Dracula. He is a half vampire, so he is the child of a human woman and Dracula, the vampire. So he kind of has this interesting build about him where he's got like one foot in kind of the human world. He has kind of a love and affinity for humans that his father doesn't share. And it makes for an interesting character clash between him and his father, being that Dracula is the main villain of almost every Castlevania game. So he has almost kind of like Alucard almost has kind of like a Geralt to him in terms of like his ability to, he kind of strikes me as, Ian said this a long time ago, I remember when we were talking about The Witcher, that Geralt kind of feels like Batman in a Polish fantasy world. And I feel like Alucard kind of feels the same way. He utilizes a lot of the iconic weapons from Castlevania, like the whip. He's got a rapier, which is like his main weapon that he uses, but he also uses like the holy water and like cross and stuff like that, the axe. So these are all items that you can get picked up in the game. So he's not the only protagonist of Symphony of the Night. There's also 2 other characters in Richter, and then there's a woman character. I can't remember what her name is, but she's also kind of one of the main characters too. So they end up kind of forming a little bit of a trio. But Castlevania Symphony of the Night, one of my favorite games, very iconic. So I don't know. What do you guys think? As people who haven't played Symphony of the Night or have very little, maybe have watched the anime. He is in the anime.
That's
too.
kind of what I don't know how well of a representation that is from the game, but that's my biggest experience with him as a
pretty
character.
pretty good. I would say the anime is fairly accurate to like what the story they try to portray, with a little bit of differences here and there. So I don't know. I guess we'll start with you, Ian. Where would you? What's your heat check on where you'd put Alucard?
Well, it's tough to separate. This is where it's going to become. You kind of have the icon part and the actual characterization butting heads, and like where it ends up, because Symphony of the Night is widely considered to be probably in the top 10 games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if you're going to if you talk to anyone who's like a little bit older than us, or anyone who studies games or has been working in the games industry for a long time, like you're not going to talk to anyone like that probably doesn't think that that's the case. So obviously he's a big part of it. He's badass. He's interesting. His background is interesting. You get to play as someone. You get to play as sort of the offspring of the villain, and all of the fun kind of gray area that gives you. I also feel like the nature of the time frame probably limited a lot of like how much characterization they were able to do. A lot of just like text and stuff like that. So like I want to take the iconic nature of him and respect that, and also make sure that it just kind of, because of the way the game is, like I don't think we really get to know him all that well. So my heat check is A.
Okay. Nice. How about you, Kyle?
Yeah, this is a tough one because I have watched a little bit of the show. Not enough for me to say that I remember Alucard, distinctly from the show.
He's like the main character in the second season.
Yeah.
Okay, but then that's probably why.
Yeah.
So this is like really tough for me because I'm not knowledgeable about it a whole lot. So I'm not going to do this a whole lot, but I personally want to abstain from having an effect on this vote.
No, that's okay. I think that's very fair. I'll have a couple of those too, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think where I would probably rank him is somewhere in the B category. I love Symphony of the Night. It's not in my personal top 10 games of all time. It would probably be more somewhere where I'd put in like a top 50. I think the character is really cool. I think he's badass. I think there's a lot of really cool characterization to him. But yeah, I think what you said earlier, Ian, I think it's definitely one of those games that could use like a remake with maybe some more front facing story put to it. Maybe a kind of thing where they could do more of a like an anime style, like take some of the stuff they learned from the anime and telling that story and bring it back into like a remake of the game. I mean, he might even show up in the new Castlevania game that got announced recently, so who knows? But yeah, I think I would cement him at B personally.
I'll defer to you.
All right. Ooh.
That's funny how that does that.
I do want to ask: are any of the Castlevania games like on Game Pass?
There was a while where they definitely were.
Maybe?
I think Symphony of the Night is like usually on Xbox Marketplace, whatever, dude. It's like $7 a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's probably
really
cheap.
cheap.
I think I bought it on sale for like $4.99 a few years ago.
It's probably really cheap on Steam too.
It's as well.
They just came out with a collection recently too that comes with Symphony of the Night and like 2 other games.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Also, so
That'd be good.
You get like a little bit of a bundle too.
I
really want to play those games.
Yeah, I love the vibe. Like the vibe. I know that's such a like a roll your eyes, overly used word, but I do like it. The Gen Z has some good shit. We've talked about this before. They actually, everyone gives them shit because they're kind of the young generation right now, but they have some good phrases. And like, I love the whole Castlevania. I think that's what I was talking about playing Resident Evil 8. I just love the foggy Transylvanian castle spookiness is just awesome. I love that whole thing. I'd love to get better at those games. I'm terrible at 2D games. So
I love with the show. I think what really stood out to me is definitely like the art style, the time period of what it plays in, and I think the attitude of the entire show is really awesome. I think it's very mature, at times even actually genuinely funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it, so I definitely want to get into it more. I guess on that note with Gen Z, you could say Alucard's pretty mid right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
admit,
know
for sure.
We'll have to do an experience point for the show as well, like we're doing with Arcane, because that show is great.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
And
first season
Alucard's like
too,
the
in
best part of
particular.
it. I loved Alucard in the second season.
Yeah, he's dope. I
But
love
yeah,
him.
the first season was great too. Okay, next.
All right. Next we got Adam Jensen from Deus Ex. This is one of the few characters on the list here that I don't really have a ton of experience with. I played through, what was the one on 360? Deus Ex
Human Revolution.
Evolved, or oh yeah, Human Revolution. Yeah. So I played through like the beginning couple levels of it, and I kind of fell off of it. Not because it was bad, but just it was like
Time and place.
yeah, it just didn't hit me at the right time. So I don't really have a ton of knowledge about Adam Jensen. I think you might know a little bit more about him, Ian. So what's your take?
I've finished Human Revolution like twice, and I started Mankind Divided, which was the sequel that came around like the early Xbox One PS4 era. But I actually never finished it because I had a horrible audio glitch where every time I would go through these certain doors that made like a beeping sound, the beeping would never stop.
That's crazy.
And
I remember that. That's
I would have
crazy.
to reload, and every time I went through one of these doors, it would do it again, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm never playing this again." So I haven't played it since. The game I think the game got like 9s. It was very good. Is this Lord of the Cream's pick?
This is indeed, yes.
I remember
like
he's talked about Adam's. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I cannot stand this voice actor. This actor is also in a lot of stuff. He's in The Expanse briefly in the first season. He pops up in all kinds of stuff, and he's got a very a voice that is obvious, like distinct. You'll know, but it drives me nuts, and I think he's like,
we got a hot take.
He's edgy as fuck, and he's just in the mic.
What's his?
And he just talks like this all the time. And I'm like, am I supposed to be taking this shit seriously right now?
What's his iconic line? Is it like, "I never asked for this" or something like
yes,
that?
I never asked for this. And like people, and like everyone else in the game just talks normally. So they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Adam, it's good to see you, man. How are you doing?" I've been better. I'm just like, what? Like, what is this? And I can't handle it. And so for me, he's D. Even though I don't think the writing is always bad, and I do think his character maybe C, because like the world is cool, the games are cool, the like some of the storylines are very interesting, but his voice just is like nails on a chalkboard for me.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. What about you, Kyle? Any experience with Deus Ex or?
I don't.
Good game.
This is yeah.
Good game.
It's unfortunately going to have to be one of those that I defer to you guys again. Again, I'm not going to do this a whole lot, but I literally have zero experience with these games, and I don't really know anything about that character.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe that's the first hot take of the episode here, but he's going in D.
I'm sorry, Cream Lord.
Boy.
Sorry, Cream Lord.
The games are not a D, but his voice is hard to take it's hard to take seriously for me.
Yeah, maybe this will be a thing where I'll play it as a part of a backlog thing several years from now, and I'll come back to this episode and
be like, Ian, you're
cuss you
idiot.
out.
Yeah.
But awesome. All right, so moving on here. I mean,
S.
We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I feel like S. Ellie's
my single favorite character in like all of fiction.
Yeah. I tried desperately for this like picture to get the like picture of her scowling from
like
part
from the
2,
cover,
because it's such a like
cover
perfect encapsulation. There's a painting I really, really love that gets referenced a lot in media. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I think that picture of Ellie is kind of a reference to it, but I can't prove it necessarily. It's like the meme of the guy from Dexter where he's like behind the wheel of the car. Like, I think this is a reference, but I can't exactly prove it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there's a really iconic painting of like Lucifer where his like arm is in front of his face and he has like kind of a scowl on.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite paintings of all time, just because it like it embodies the rage and like the agony of the character that I feel like it matches up so perfectly with Ellie. So, um, but yeah, I mean, what else is there to say, right? I guess somebody could take it away here if they've got more to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. I just think for me, it's pretty simple. I don't think that there's a more complex and yet relatable character in all of gaming. Um, I think even in competing just in art, in general. Um,
Yeah.
I just have like such high regard for Ellie as a person. She feels near and dear to my heart, even though she is a fictional character. Um, just for me, I just think that her character arc. I know that almost everybody who's listening to this has played the game, so if not everybody. But yeah, her character arc is like just so believable and realistic, and the stuff that she goes through and the way that she kind of deals with it feels like incredibly relatable. Nothing really feels out of touch at any point. And again, she's a very complex character that's just enjoyable throughout the entire thing, even when she's doing things that make you really not like her. Um, but you understand, So that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, man. I think she encapsulates the best in humanity, the worst in humanity. She's I almost like there's almost no other character I could think of to use as an example of the human condition and how our experiences shape us and how our reactions to those experiences continue to shape us and impact those around us. And I don't feel like I've ever been really affected by a fictional character more than this. I mean, there's movies where there's scenes and things that happen to people, movies about the Holocaust and those kinds of things that I've probably been affected by even more, but that's because that really happened. But as far as something that is completely fake, like just totally made up, I don't think I've ever been more invested or more impacted by a journey of a fictional character than her.
Yeah, enough said. I mean, I that was kind of one of those characters that I was like, I knew we weren't going to get out.
No, I'm glad she was early,
like, and it was be like unanimous. All of us would hold up the S right now. So
it kind of helps us understand what S means too. I think it's
right. I was going to say this starting off so far. This is a good baseline. We've got kind of everybody in at least one kind of category, and this will give us kind of a baseline to work off of whenever we're placing the rest of the characters. So I think this is actually unintentionally a really good start to this. All right, so next character on the list is Peter Parker / Spider-Man. This is specifically from Spider-Man on PS4. This got remastered on PS5, and so I guess I'll start out here by saying that Spider-Man is a character to me that kind of transcends video games in not just that, like, I think that this version of the character is superbly done. I think it might actually be the best version of this character that's ever been put on a screen, whether it be like movie, TV, whatever. And especially in that first game, I just think that Spider-Man and Peter Parker is just so well written. The relationship between him and Dr. Otto Octavius, they have kind of like a mentor mentee kind of relationship that kind of pulls you through the rest of the game and really ups the stakes. I feel like once you get into the third act of the game, like, just such a great game. I just love the character so much. Like I said, I don't think that Peter Parker's ever been done better than in this game, and it's definitely one of my favorite games of all time and of the generation that it came out. So the only thing that holds me back on this character is I hate the redesign. I
knew that was coming, man.
I think that the old character model was just so much better. It actually looks like a Peter Parker that's close to 30 years old. The new one makes it look like he's like 15. I just hate that. So yeah, not looking forward to eventually playing the remaster because I know I'll play it at some point, and maybe I'll end up loving it. Who knows? But
I actually he grew on me. They didn't change the voice actor obviously, but
no,
the model grew on me. He seemed more like Peter Parker because to me, I've always thought of Peter Parker as kind of a nerdy guy that people didn't. I felt like the original one looked great, but he was like a little too handsome and a little too.
really, I thought the
Yeah.
opposite.
Oh, okay.
I thought he perfectly encapsulated kind of a goofy.
I would defer to
like,
you. You know more about like Spider-Man and a lot of the comic characters than I do. I just pretty much know for like the animated series. Like it's like all I know any of the characters from. Batman.
Yeah,
or Spider-Man
well,
or any of them.
I kind of liken it to like what the live action Spider-Man characters have done so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like one of them was a really good Peter Parker, one of them was a really good Spider-Man.
That's a good point. Yeah,
and then the other one is kind of like a jack of all trades kind of thing. I feel like the original model kind of reminds me a lot of like of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man or Peter Parker, and I thought that he just did a really good Peter Parker job. He wasn't the best Spider-Man, but I think he played the best Peter Parker.
For
and
sure.
Like in my mind's eye, a 30-year-old Peter Parker looks closer to that model than this new one does. But
yeah, this guy looks more like Tom Holland
yeah,
for sure.
so I don't know. I'm feeling on my placement here, maybe like an A or a B. I'd be totally cool with putting him in B too. But yeah, what do you guys think?
With the for me taking on the small hall sort of take on this, and like I want each ranking to really mean a lot. I think he's a great rendition of Spider-Man. I don't know that I like, but then when I think about trying to compare him to someone like an Ellie, which is a little bit more of a comparison because the games are high budget and he goes through a lot and he does have an arc and there is a lot of dialogue. Like I think maybe B for me, just because I want to leave that A and that S like really tough to touch, but I could be convinced A as well because I do think he is one of the best examples of Spider-Man. And if that's the case, then you can make an argument for A. But I feel like closer to B for me, but I wouldn't make a fuss either way.
Okay. How about you, Kyle?
Yeah, I was feeling B myself. I don't have a ton of experience other than the things that I've watched Ian play.
Yeah, you got to play these. Oh man, I can't
Dude,
wait to do
this
some
would be a good
experience
one.
points with you on some of these PlayStation games, dude.
Yeah,
You're gonna love these games so much.
The stuff that I've watched looks really fun, so I would definitely be down to try that and Batman. But I watched you play actually a lot of Miles there. So
yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
so if I had to choose like comparison, like side by side, I prefer Miles, right? So I think that I would agree with you guys that probably B.
Okay. I think that is fair. Perfect. Well, since we're already talking about Miles, do we want to go ahead and do him now, maybe?
Sure.
Cool. So next on the list here, Miles Morales, Spider-Man. This was I think it was a launch title for the PS5. So it came out
It was, yeah.
fairly early in the lifespan there. The game follows Miles, who is kind of like also kind of a mentor-mentee relationship with Peter Parker through most of the games. I played through Miles Morales Spider-Man, but I weirdly don't remember a ton about it. I remember there being a lot of really cool cultural kind of elements infused in it, with him being half Puerto Rican, I think it was, and half black. So a lot of really cool moments where you're like going to festivals and things like that. I love the villains in it. I think that Prowler is probably one of the best Spider-Man villains.
Yeah, and the reveal of that is super cool.
Yeah. So those are kind of the broad strokes of what I remember. I think he's a pretty cool character. But what do you think, Kyle? I know you just spoke about it, so maybe you have a better memory than I do on the story. And where would you rank him?
Yeah, I think he's just like such a cool, unique character. I think he brings so much, just like culturally to the scene with video games in general. I know you mentioned he's half Puerto Rican, half black, and I think that like, I obviously I can't fully attest to it because that's not my culture, but I think they I personally felt like I was introduced to something different, like a different upbringing, and it was really kind of cool to see that, you know. Um, Now, whether or not it's 100% accurate, that's not up to me to decide, right? But I thought it was something different to see, and I thought it was really cool to like have that perspective and spin on a superhero character. Um, and then, of course, you know, for me, it also is like emotionally tied to one of my favorite songs releasing to the animated show of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sunflower is just one of my favorite songs of all time.
Posty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Post Malone and Sway Lee. That song I think is like, I don't know, quadruple platinum or something like that. It's insane. But anyways, no, I think Miles is just like a really cool character. He obviously is like still very much a kid in this game, and it definitely comes out, but it's not annoying, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like, it's really easy to cross that line where it's like, all right, I get it, this character's a kid, but they're just kind of like really stupid, and you're not like creating a good character, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not the case with Miles. I think he's very complex for his age, and obviously, you know, you would be with everything that he has to go through. So yeah, I think for me, if I had to put a grade on it, like I said, I would put him a notch above Peter Parker. So I might put him in A tier.
Okay. Nice. I like that. What about you, Ian? Any strong thoughts?
No, I think I find that I have no problems with him being an A. I'm finding that I just don't, for some reason, the superheroes just don't, even when they're really well done and very well written and acted like these two both are, they just don't like emotionally resonate with me super powerfully. I just, they just feel kind of invulnerable a lot of the time. They, you know, they're gonna make it. I don't know. There's something about it that just sort of like, and they're iconic, but they were already iconic before they were in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know that like even the iconic status of Spider-Man necessarily for like helps them get higher to me. Cause it's like, well, it's Spider-Man. So Spider-Man was always already the biggest deal, like prior to these games even coming out. So I'm more like B with these guys, but again, same thing with last. Like if there's no part of me that's like going to argue with A either, because I'm taking into account that is more of just kind of my personal thing with them. It's like I enjoy those games; they're really fun, but it's a superhero, and for some reason the superhero thing just kind of like creates a little bit of a barrier for me, where I'm just like, yeah, this is fun, it's great, they're great games, and they're very well done. They're wonderful examples of those characters. So I have no problem with either of them being in A if you guys felt strongly about it.
Okay. Yeah, you know, Kyle, I think you've convinced me. Actually, I like your breakdown of it, so I think Miles gets an A.
Hell yeah,
let's do it.
Nice.
All right. Next one is a character that I think you'll have a lot to say about, Kyle. This is Mael from Expedition 33, Clear Obscure. Just a great character, kind of like you mentioned earlier, Ian. There's a lot of different characters that you could pick from in Expedition 33. But I decided to put Mael on this list because I thought she was probably my favorite character of the entire game. I think she has a very, very interesting arc. And it's a little bit difficult to talk about Mael as well without really getting into spoiler territory. And I desperately don't want this to be spoiled for Ian.
Sorry.
So, no, it's all good, man. It's hard to talk about it more at length without talking about the ending per se. But there's a lot of different main characters you could choose for Expedition 33. But I thought that Mael was the one that struck me the most. So, Kyle, what's your take? Where would you place her?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I really like. So I will say this. Obviously, Clear Obscure is a big hit, and it's a really good game. And I've already stated my opinion about the game. One of the shining characteristics, I guess, of the game is Mael. I think they did a really good job with her character arc, like you said, and the things that kind of unfold and what you learn about her. I think her and Gustav are like probably my two favorite characters out of the group. I think the rest are kind of, you know.
You could take them or leave them.
Yeah. This is tough to say without spoiling. I think that there's one major issue that I take with the character of Mael, like towards the end of the game. Which that's all I'll say about that. So it makes me hold back a little bit on her. I think that could have been done a little better in my opinion, but tough, man. I don't think I could quite put her in A tier. Which says a lot about my opinion about that game. If I'm thinking about it now, it's like that's my favorite thing about the game, and I can't put her in A tier.
I feel like I could put her in A tier. I think she's that good of a character.
Okay,
yeah, and especially without the end. Like, God, I wish we could talk about the ending of it because it makes things more interesting for sure. But
it does. Yeah.
You ask me personally, I would say A, but
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I've only played like 5 to 6 hours, so I love that voice. Jennifer English is a great voice actress, and
so good. Her performance is so good.
Oh, and I played enough to know that much. Yeah,
Yeah.
She's wonderful. I love talking to her every chance I get. I really love the relationship in the first half of the game or a quarter of the game or whatever it is with her and Gustav. Their kind of brother sisterly kind of relationship that they have is really, really interesting dynamic. So I'm trusting you guys on this one. I know that game has a powerful story. Whether or not you guys liked it by the end, I don't think you can argue with the writing.
Yeah, and that was my thing too. Is like I have to separate the overall story from Mael as a character, and I think that her character is so well written and performed and realized that I think it like moves past like the problems I had with the story in Expedition 33.
That's a good point. And I also forgot to mention too, or I guess I was not thinking about it, Ian. You brought it up. I think the voice actress is phenomenal here.
Oh,
so
yeah. She's so good.
Yeah, I mean, just overall, just a really good character. I'm excited for you to play through that.
I'll try and get that done this year.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Next one on the list, we got Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. Main character of this one, who's in the Dutch gang with John Marston, who's also on this list later on as well. But just a fantastic character. I think Arthur Morgan goes through a very good character arc, especially coming from a gang of outlaws and kind of realizing that the outlaw lifestyle is waning. We're kind of in the last days of, having the Wild West truly be a thing that people can do as often. And so I think the moral conundrums and dilemmas that he kind of goes throughout the game and his relationship with Dutch, I think makes for, just a really, really interesting character arc. There's the entire aspect about him getting tuberculosis too, that I think is also very interesting and has, completes his character arc, but also like, it gets brought up every time somebody talks about Red Dead Redemption 2, but the conversation he has with the nun sitting on the bench outside of that church is one of the best monologues or like dialogue sequences I think in games of all time. Just grips at the heartstrings, and like it's just one of those character arcs I will never forget. This one is in my top 10 favorite games of all time. I know we got right in from my friend Justin Bitcoin Vinaigrette, who made this suggestion, and I thought it was a fantastic one. So me personally, I would say S on this one. This is a Hall of Fame tier character in my mind.
Zero doubt. S tier character.
Yeah, I mean that's all that's all I'm gonna say. I need to play this fucking game.
Yeah, you do. Dude, you have to play so many games on this list. It's crazy.
I need to play this game, but I know that like it's just like across the board. Anybody who's played it says this is the guy.
I have issues with the game overall.
Yeah.
But none of those issues are that character.
Yeah.
He is the reason that I finished the game. I mean, like, it's a beautiful game. It does so many things incredibly well. It's just, I think it's brutally long, and it doesn't need to be
very long.
And that's the only thing where it's like, I totally get why you haven't played it, Kyle, because it's like, it's kind of like feels like an onslaught. You're like, really, I'm gonna do this, but that it's one of the best stories in any game ever. It is up there with Last of Us, and he is one of the great characters in all of gaming, no doubt.
For sure. Well, all right, that's a good one.
I don't
We got
even have
another
to play it
unanimous
to know
one.
that.
And then once you do, you'll be like, holy
You will.
shit.
You will understand. All right, perfect. Next up, we got Master Chief from Halo. Ian, you got the Xbox shirt on, so take it away, man.
Yeah, see, this is the first example to me of like, okay, what is the weight? What is the scale between iconic and like true characterization?
Mhm.
Because if we're comparing Master Chief to like Ellie or you know, like these,
Yeah.
I just don't know that it's just not even, it's like apples and oranges.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's the face of like an entire brand, and he is the main character in one of the great, most legendary franchises of all time. Because and like his backstory and stuff, like in the books, is really great, but that you can't really go there. I don't think we gotta keep it from the games.
Yeah.
So I am going A for Master Chief, just because of how important he is to Xbox, to modern gaming, to Halo, what Halo means for first person shooters as a genre, and sci-fi and all of that. I feel like you can't go below that, but I have a hard time making him an S tier character because there's not like necessarily that much. You have to reach a certain level. Like if Mario was on here,
Yeah.
I would make him S tier because it's fucking Mario.
Right.
But like, I don't think you can say Master Chief is on the level of icon as Mario is, and therefore I'm voting A.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
That's a solid justification. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you said, this is definitely the first character where it sort of tests the limits between a well-written character and just one that's iconic. I mean, there's just so many iconic missions in Halo, and I kind of look at Master Chief as that lovable action, like 90s movie, like action hero, you know, where it's like there's not much to him. Like he's as deep as a puddle, but like, man, he's just got some badass lines.
He's got great lines. I mean, it's really honestly, and I don't know if we could make the argument because you're technically not playing as her, but Cortana is almost more the protagonist in a way.
Yeah, in some ways.
But you're not Cortana. You are
Right.
Master Chief. So she's not the protagonist. So like if we ever do an episode where we do just like non-playable, like, and the NPCs, like the best characters in games
Side
that aren't
characters
playable or whatever, whatever you call them, you know, maybe Cortana might be S tier, honestly.
Yeah,
but Master Chief, to me, I don't think you can't put him, to me, you can't put him below A. Like, he's just it's way too big. It's way too big of a symbol, too recognizable, too synonymous with video games as a medium. But I also think you can't. He's not Arthur Morgan or Ellie Williams. Like, so that's kind of where I'm at. What do you think, Kyle?
This is tough, man. You know, I guess it's hard when we don't have established rules, because you're correct. It's like just like two different ways to look at it, I guess. Although I would argue that the characters in S tier kind of hit both sides of either, you know, being that simple but also being a really complex character. Boy, this is tough for me.
But I think if you took 25 people off the street and you had a picture of Master Chief and a picture of Ellie, more people would know who Master Chief is.
For sure.
Yeah,
that doesn't make him a better character. Well, but
Yeah.
what I'm not saying it's the question. What I'm saying is that, like, that's why you don't. I mean, that's why you have to weigh in. Like, that's why you don't have a specific rule, because it just couldn't. That doesn't mean that he's a better character, right? So like, there can't be a fly to like straight up, this is the rule and this is why. That's what makes the conversation interesting, because it's like,
yeah, I mean, I guess if you were like arguing like greatest bands of all time, you know, I don't know how you couldn't put Metallica, even though you wouldn't say that they're like
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like, how do you? I mean, because there's a bunch of crazy, talented bands that aren't right. So there's all these
Yeah.
weird. It's like these different things. That's what makes it fun, though.
So what do you feel on your ranking, Kyle? Me personally, I was thinking also A or B. I could go either way.
Yeah, I was thinking B. That sucks because we're kind of like in between.
Yeah, I think he's too iconic. I think the icon level is so heavy that he's only less iconic than maybe like 7 or 8 video game characters ever, as far as just visual representation of people knowing what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Pikachu is more.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Mario,
Pikachu,
Sonic,
Mario, Sonic, Link.
Yeah.
Right? You start to run out, and then it's like Master Chief. I mean, he's just people see Master Chief like, oh, Xbox.
Speaking of, why is Pikachu not in here?
We're doing it.
I know, right?
I don't know. Nobody suggested it, so that's kind of why. That's why earlier when we were kind of bringing up like the list of characters that aren't on here too, I'm kind of glad that we didn't get like the 10 most iconic, most recognizable ones either. I kind of like that.
Just like have to put them in. Yeah.
It's
like
weird
feels
and
like
eclectic.
a TSG list. This is like our stuff
for sure,
collectively. Though it is already 9:09.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm trying to move.
Are we gonna do episode 2 or what?
All right. So next on the list here is Lara Croft. Just a fun character I thought that I would throw in here.
Yeah,
obviously the Lara Croft from the reboot has a little bit more character put into it. And I haven't played all of the Tomb Raider reboot games as well, so I'm probably missing out on some really good characterization here, but just a franchise that means a lot to me. I think kind of similar to a Master Chief sort of way. I think that Lara Croft is just a badass action hero character and is just recognizable and iconic, and some of that original trilogy on the PlayStation 1 is just like means so much to me. So I think it's one of those series that has a great original set of games, but also a really, really well done reboot as well. And so excited to see what they do with the character in the future. But
yeah, me too.
This is another one I could see either going A or B, maybe a B for me, just because maybe she's not as iconic as like a Master Chief or something like that, but still warrants the respect of being in that upper tier of the list. So what did you think, Ian?
I completely agree. I think I would put her like at a high end of B. You could make an argument for A, I think, because of the history of the franchise and how big of a deal it was in 3D gaming and things like that. But I don't think the impactfulness and the popularity has sustained necessarily. Like, I feel like she was never bigger than during the first 3 games. I'm saying that as someone who loves the reboots. I absolutely love the reboots.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a solid character, but I'm going B. I'd go B.
Okay. B it is. I think that's a
Kyle,
solid
you agree?
spot.
Yeah, I can't really say too much. I was going to say B or C. I wouldn't be too upset with either, to be honest.
Cool.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. Next on the list is V from Cyberpunk 2077.
Female V.
Female V.
Yep,
specifically.
This is interesting because I haven't played as female V, so I don't get a lot of the nuances, and maybe the character develops in Phantom Liberty a little bit differently. I'll tell you right now, at least as far as male V was concerned, I don't know that I was a massive fan of him. There was kind of like an aspect to the character that is a little self-inserty, but also at the same time, like, I just don't know if I vibed with him as a character as much. I think one of the things that good. Yeah, I was going to say one of the things that, like, looking back on Cyberpunk 2077, I loved the game. I mean, it's definitely like in a top 50 list for me, but I think V and the relationship to Johnny Silverhand, probably actually one of the least interesting parts to me of the entire game.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't really find him to be that compelling. And I think it would have been a better side quest than it would have been like the actual overarching story of the game. So, um, but I don't know. Like I said, I mean, off of initial reaction, I know where I would put male V, but I don't know like which would probably be in a C or maybe like a B at the very highest. But
The
like I said,
male
I don't
V is
know.
not good. I've heard
Yeah,
a lot of his lines, and I'm like, oh god, you played a very different game than I did.
yeah, I wasn't a big fan of him. So, but like I said, I don't know how much of that actually changes just by like making it a better performance. Because even then, I'm still not like in love with like the actions that happen in the main story too. So,
Okay.
but I don't know. Might need to be sold on it a little bit more, Ian.
I don't know if I can sell you on it without having you if you haven't if you haven't played it with her. I mean, it's annoying that the difference is so massive. I think the voice actress that plays V, I think it's one of the single best voice acting performances I've ever heard in any game of all time, and I would put her S tier. But that's so specific to like my experience with the game. I think her and Judy and that whole like romantic relationship is one of the best romances I've ever experienced.
It's a good point.
The ups and downs of their story together is just so mature and real and tragic and beautiful. Um, and the actress for female V is just able to run the gamut of emotions in all the right times. And I feel like all the dialogue choices that I make always go off exactly like her tone. It matches exactly what I was thinking. That sometimes you pick a
Yeah.
dialogue option and you think it's going to come out one way, and then they say something, and you're like, oh, that's not what I got from that summary that I picked
Mm-hmm.
at all. Like, I feel like that just hardly ever happened. I just felt so empowered, and I felt like I felt like it wasn't a self insert, which is why I was so excited that Craig put female V in here.
Hmm.
Um, yes, you get to choose the dialogue, but to me, it became clear to me like this character and her performance just sort of lifted itself out of the game, and I was like understanding who this person was based on just how incredible the performance was. And I wouldn't even have to really read all the dialogue options because I would see the one and go, that's what V would say
Hmm.
every time. And it was like this weird thing where it's like I wasn't being V. I was just sort of got to choose the way that this character that I was starting to get to know would react. How would V react? It felt like I was a director and a writer of a film, and I was kind of given these options like, and this is what you know about this character based on the way she's reacting in the first few hours of things. And like I got to just she just kind of led me down the path. And I that's why that game that's why I put it in my top 10 games of all time after I finished it, because I've just for a self-insert character with multiple dialogue options, that's as emotionally wrapped up in a character. Her desperation to survive, her desperation to escape, her desperation to just feel happy. Um, I don't know. It's a legendary performance in my experience, but that's just my take on it. So I won't sit here and die on the hill that we have to put her at S. Um, but it's absolutely incredible. She is phenomenal.
All right. What do you think, Kyle?
Uh, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do nearly as good of a job of convincing it, convincing you, as Ian did. But my only drawback, I think that she is a great character. I guess my only drawback is just like the difference of having all the different options to choose from, and like when you think about like the S tier characters like Ellie and Arthur, it's like those characters are set in stone and like they have their story written.
Mm-hmm.
So your experience can really vary. I will say that the things that I love about Cyberpunk in itself is everything outside of the character V, if that makes sense. Like, and not even saying that like I'm just tolerating V. I think V is a great character, especially female V. I haven't played the male V. I will at some point. Um, I think she is a great voice actress. I do think that the romance with Judy is actually really, really good. It just makes sense, and I think that anytime that I would be willing to bet that like probably at least 80 to 85% of people chose to romance Judy when they played female V. Like I would put money on that.
It's just hard not to. Like, it feels like the voice actresses like had chemistry, man. It's just like, it's like those two characters are just made for each other.
Yeah.
It makes a whole lot of sense. So I really love the game, really love the experience. I can't say that she's a legendary character because of the drawback of like, you know, it's not, the character is not written for you. So it's like really hard for me to say who V is. And I know that you have a more clear picture of that, Ian, but it's not as,
I agree. That's a great argument.
I'm not as good at that of like envisioning who this person is. I kind of need my handheld with that. So that's the only reason why I'd draw back on it. It'd be tough, you know. So the thing is I think about the comparisons with like. So I this is tough. I probably would have to put her in A tier. It's just hard for me to like put her alongside like Master Chief, I guess. So I'm having a hard time doing that. But then I feel like B feels too low.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where you get in. That's where it's like you're weighing the performance and the writing next to how popular and iconic and important a character is. Like they're just different.
Mm-hmm.
You're to me the quality is of equal. I mean, Master Chief is just the quality of the Halo games are. I mean, if Halo sucked, no one would know who Master Chief is.
Right. Yeah.
Right. The reason Master Chief is an A is because Halo is an A franchise. It's probably an S franchise if 343 didn't add a lead weight to the bottom of it. But
you're right.
You know, the original 3 Halo games, the Bungie Halo games, are 3 of the great. You know, it's one of the greatest series ever. And Master Chief is, and on a list like this, is buoyed by the fact that he is the face of one of the great games of all time. I think Cyberpunk is there too, honestly.
For sure.
It's just the legacy is different. It's also newer, so you haven't had the time. And to your point, there's someone could play as a male V and just never even get that. Someone could play as a female V and romance a different character and make different decisions, and maybe it just comes off a little different. So there is something to be said for that. And so I think, but I it's tough. It'd be hard for me to go below A. For that performance is it's just something else. It would be really hard for me, but I could do it if you guys were like, no, she has to be B. I'd be like, all right, but just because of the different directions you go.
I think I've been convinced. I think A sounds like the move. Yeah,
someday I hope you play.
I will.
Totally
sure.
different game.
When I do my run, when I play through Phantom Liberty, I will do a female V, and I'll report back on it.
What I will say, when it comes to games like this, where the protagonist is kind of whoever you make them out to be, those type of games, I will say she's unequivocally the best written character of all games when it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. We were talking about the difference between we're not going to pick the hero of Kavach from Oblivion because there's 10 different races and a million different, but these games that are kind of in the middle there where you get to create what they look like and kind of choose how they act. But at the end of the day, they have a named character. It's a named character. It's pre-named. They go by that. Everyone knows them. They have a specific place in the world that you're not deciding. It's like, it's some of that is taken away. They're like 75% of a character, and you fill in the last 25%. Like those are enough of a character. I feel like to. It's
a good analogy.
List. All right, what's next? Oh, Aloy.
All right, next we got Aloy from the Horizon series, Zero Dawn, and Forgotten West. That's what it was, right?
Forbidden West, yeah.
Forbidden West. That's right. Yeah, this is an interesting one. So, knee-jerk reaction right off the bat. Aloy is kind of one of those characters to me anyway, where I find the universe and the gameplay of the Horizon games more interesting than Aloy actually is as a character. And that's not to say that she's a bad character. I think that she has a lot of better characterization in the first game than she does the second game.
Oh, that's so funny. I was going to say the total opposite.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is kind of one of those ones where like, and even when I think of like PlayStation, I feel like I could probably think of like maybe close to 10 other characters that I think are either more iconic or well written than Aloy. And I don't want to like come off as like a Horizon hater because I feel like it's one of those franchises that's like kind of gets shit on a lot for no reason. I love Horizon. I don't necessarily think that Aloy makes the grade for me in terms of like a super iconic like gotta have it character. So I don't know. I feel like she'd be a really good candidate for our first C tier character or maybe even B tier. So
I think C is fair. I would say after Zero Dawn for me would be a C because I think that story is somewhat familiar and done before. You know, the outcast who ends up knowing like a lot more and is a complete badass and like has to fight her way up. I mean, it's kind of the first game to me is a little bit like humdrum. And then the second game, I think she just keeps on going like a little bit further, and she's got the weight of the world, literally the weight of the world on her shoulders, and the way that she's always able to take. I liked her more in the second. It's like the second game makes me want to go up to B maybe, but I won't fight C either
okay,
because there's not a lot of
what's your take,
iconic.
Kyle?
She's not iconic, but I think Ashley Birch does a great job with the performance.
I'm personally just looking at what's coming up, and I think that we're going to have to start filling in some C spots here.
I'm okay with
D
C.
spots. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we're talking this. This is like a list of characters that we all like, and we like the games, and
Yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
it's
There's
like,
nobody on here I absolutely despise.
Yeah,
You're
so
on D tier. You're still a good character.
I gave some
Well,
shit to
Ian might
Adam
not think
Jensen.
so,
Well, I mean, the character's interesting. It's just the voice. It's like literally like the listening to him is hard. That's all.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Up next, we got Samus Aran from the Metroid series. Definitely one of the best Nintendo franchises. Samus Aran is a bounty hunter, goes around to different planets, and has an interesting relationships with the Metroids. Two super iconic franchises in the Metroid Prime series, and then like the regular Metroid games. I personally played through most recently Metroid Dread a couple years ago, and it was like absolutely one of the best games I've played of that generation. I just thought it was a really cool 2D kind of side scrolling or even like 2.5D, I guess, art style. And I love those games as well. I haven't played through Metroid Prime 4 just yet. I do have it bought. I just haven't gotten to it just yet. So, but yeah, I think in terms of Nintendo characters, there's probably some other. I mean, obviously on this list, right, there are more iconic Nintendo characters, but I think if you were to give me like a top five of like your favorite Nintendo characters, Samus would definitely be on that list for just the cool factor. She's obviously not going to win any awards for being the most well written character. So
No.
the only thing you can
She's
really
definitely
go
in there
off
with like
of
the
is
Master Chief kind of thing.
she has the cool factor for sure. So I don't know. I would go probably B, maybe even A. If we're kind of comparing the cool factor to something like Master Chief, but I could be swayed either way on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I have a strong kind of nostalgic connection with Samus. I think she, yes, doesn't have a lot of characters. The one thing for me is like she's really, it's the Super Nintendo era that I think of when I think of that character in those games. I know Dread. I heard Dread was great. I have Dread. I just haven't played it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Metroid games like have not been great for like a long time before Dread. There was a kind of a long gap between truly great kind of legendary games. I know Prime is popular. I only played some of Prime. I didn't own a GameCube, so I only played it like with friends and stuff. I feel like she's become less well known in time instead
For
of
sure.
more popular. And even though it's like, yeah, Halo games have gotten worse, but I don't feel like Master Chief is any less recognizable. And I feel like there's a lot of Gen Z people who probably wouldn't even know who Samus is, and would
probably
know.
not. Yeah,
And that doesn't mean that it's a worse character, right? But when you don't have anything else to go on but how iconic she is, and the brand has just not really been there until now, it's starting to kind of come back. I'd probably go B. Despite my nostalgia brain is like, hey, S.
right.
But I'm trying to like kind of put a cap on that, and I you can't put her anywhere below B. I don't think she's a little too much iconic happening there.
All right, what about you, Kyle?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with you guys on this because the only real interaction I have with Samus, and this might be a sin, but is just the Super Smash Bros.
Oh yeah.
She's definitely one of the best characters in Smash Bros.
Yeah, she's a badass in Smash Bros, dude.
I always thought she was one of the coolest characters there.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't played any of the games. I don't really have any experience with it. I honestly didn't even know that she even talked, because I thought it was just like a complete action character.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't talk.
Oh, well, then that's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. She kind of has like a cool factor thing like Master Chief, but with less dialogue.
Rizzo back there.
Yeah.
Rizzo's like, I heard cool factor.
Oh, so cute.
She is one of the cutest dogs in the world.
Rizzo.
All right.
Rizzo, you're S tier.
Oh,
she is S tier. All right. Next up on the list is Isaac Clarke. So this is kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, this was super. I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, me too. And this is one where it's like, I don't know. I could kind of go either way. I do think this is the Isaac Clarke from the remake of the original Dead Space.
Pictured. Well, let's just the whole thing.
Yeah. So I would say for the most part, I would probably lean towards Isaac Clarke maybe being like a B or a C, somewhere kind of right within there. I think his story is compelling, and he's got a good motive for a lot of what he's doing in Dead Space 1. It's been a long time since I've played Dead Space 2, so it's really difficult for me to remember some of the story beats in that one and how much they matter. I will say I think the remake makes him a way better character.
Mm-hmm.
Like with his connection to like Unitarianism, and I like that he's actually voiced in the first one, the remake now. So
by the same voice actor that played him in 2 and 3. So if you play through them, it feels a little better. The only issue is he looks a little different now.
Yeah.
So like if you played Dead Space Remake and then you played Dead Space 2, he looks sort of the same, but not. It'd be a little weird. You'd be like, is that
he's
the
kind
same
of
guy?
Rounder faced?
And well, he's got like his hair is
2.
more like pepper, like salt and pepper in Dead Space 2 and 3.
Yeah,
and he's kind of like a redhead almost in this in the first game. So I don't remember how many years is between the first two, but the second game he's incredibly interesting because he's losing his fucking mind after being with the marker, and so you're like seeing stuff that's not real and all that. I think the performance is excellent, but I think Dead Space is legendary for its universe, its world building, and its sense of place and attention to detail and art design of the creatures and art design of the ships that, like the Ishimura and the station in 2 as well. I think, what's it called? It has like a name, like a single noun. It's so good.
I can't remember. I've literally only played through Dead Space 2.
2 is
maybe twice.
2 is excellent. Like
I love 2. I love 2.
If 1 is a 10, like 2 is a 9. I mean, it's just
been such a long time.
And then 3 kind of falls off. And there's interesting stuff going on with the characters. I think he's good, but I don't think he certainly doesn't hurt the game in any way. But I also don't think he's like the reason that Dead Space 1 and 2 are legendary games. It's like everything else that makes it a 10 out of 10. He's a good character. He's solid. I'd put him with Aloy at C. Just because I just don't. Most of the time, he's just in his suit, and you're just experiencing that world.
Yeah, agreed. What about you, Kyle? Any feeling difference there?
Yeah, I actually watched Ian play through Dead Space, so I think I would agree with it. He's not really like. I wouldn't necessarily say the focal point of like what makes that game great necessarily. I guess the way I should phrase that is like, I don't walk away from that game going like, wow, Isaac's really awesome, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm okay with it being C tier.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they remake the second one with all of the bells and whistles of the first remake, I think that we could have a really strong character and he could be bumped up to like a B or an A. But yeah, as it currently stands, it's like we kind of really just have the first and the second one to go off of. You know,
he's just kind of your vehicle to put you through the world and experience all the craziness happening and the lore. I like Dead Space for the lore and the design and the feel and all of that, and like I love the world and Unitarian, like all that stuff is just so cool, and the
So
necromorphs
good.
and planet crackers and like EarthGov and all of this stuff. It's just like I could just pour over all the reading, you know, just all the stuff you read and pick up the notes and the audio logs, like all of that. It's more like BioShock. Like it's not really about who you're playing, it's about the world that you're going through. It's like it's just different. So if we're ranking settings, like the Ishimura is S tier, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's not what we're doing. We're ranking characters, and he's a good, solid protagonist to put you through what is one of the great games ever.
For sure. All right. Next up is Ezio Auditore
Differenze
from Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and what was the other one? Revelations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is kind of an interesting one. This is another kind of like Isaac Clarke in Dead Space 2. I played through Assassin's Creed 2 once, like the first year it came out, and I never went back to it. And I have not played Brotherhood, nor have I played Revelations. So this is kind of one of those characters I'm willing to guarantee I've missed a lot of history on and a lot of characterization. Really, the only thing I can remember about Ezio is that he is a descendant of Desmond, right? I think in the second one.
Yeah.
And his family gets killed. They gets hung in front of him, and he's against the Templars. And that's all I really remember about him. So, like, right off the bat, I mean, I'm feeling kind of a C or a D, but there's so much I'm missing on him, you know?
Yeah, no way.
All right, sell me on it, Ian.
Ezio is like the man's man. He is charming, he's sly, he's strong and skilled, and he's a ladies' man. He's hilarious, he's sarcastic, he's sensitive, he's knowledgeable, he's been through hell and still has this like positive outlook on life and has a hope for other people, and his belief in others make other people better. And his arc over the 3 games as he goes from a young kind of roguish charmer to kind of the leader of this hidden organization that's doing everything it can to save humanity from what is basically enslavement, and his belief and faith in people to do the right thing, and the wisdom that he leaves the earth with. Man, what a arc. I mean, talk about the way that he changes and ages over the 3 games. You start with him, he's like 19, 20 years old in the first game, I think, and he's like 55 by the third one. I mean, if you play these games, you're with him for his whole life. And the way that he evolves over those 3 games is really believable. And at the end of Revelations, the Revelations wasn't like one of the great games, but you know, he was kind of, they got those games out quick, so they're all pretty similar. But man, by the end of those games, like I was just so invested. His character arc is really, really, really good. He's a phenomenal character.
Okay, so where do you think you would place him?
Probably B. I mean, if I was making like a personal list on like my own thing, and I'm not being objective at all, I'd probably put him at A. I think he's still the face of this franchise, which has sold like tens upon tens upon tens upon tens of millions of copies. And yeah, the brand has gone down a little bit with Ubisoft just kind of floundering, and not taking care and not being the best stewards of it. But it's still one of the biggest modern gaming franchises out there. He's still regarded as the best character because, and he was so popular that they were like, we have to keep making games for him because people aren't ready to move on. He's the only character in the franchise that they've dedicated 3 games to and told a whole story and beginning, middle, and end. And I think he has both the icon status in gaming. He's not like Master Chief level icon where you could show him to someone who doesn't play a lot of games, but I think he's like right below that. As far as like everyone who plays games and has been playing games for the last 5 to 10 years knows what the guy in the white robe is. And he was huge at one point. He was in what's that fighting game that always has a guest character?
Oh, Soul Calibur.
He was in Soul Calibur, I think 4 or 5. Right. He was a big deal for a while there. And then the franchise kind of started to wane off a little bit, and I think people have kind of forgotten, but he's a legendary video game character. He was like one of the most popular characters in all of games during the 360 and PS3 era. Like everybody loved AC2. That was a huge game. That game sold tons of copies, and he's a big reason why it was so popular. He's just so full of personality. He's so likable. He was so different. He wasn't this brooding killing badass who's like, I'm an assassin. He's funny and like he just and he just, oh man, he's great. We'd all want to be his friend if we were living there. Everyone wants to be Ezio's friend. So I think that he's an A, but I'm okay. A B is okay for me. I think just based on the icon level kind of coming down a little bit, I'd be okay with B.
Any thoughts or feelings, Kyle?
I think you might be muted.
Sorry about that. Nice call. I had to get rid of Rizzo. She was shedding all over me, so I immediately.
Aw.
That's what you do, huh?
Yeah, she's shitty little girl.
Yeah, I don't know the character too, but because my thing is like I fell out of Assassin's Creed pretty quickly and early on. I felt like
my history basically starts and ends with Assassin's Creed 2, so
yeah, I just not impressed too much other than like the first like 2 games for me. So this one's hard. I don't have a lot of input on it. I think that the franchise overall is pretty mediocre, and if he's like the best character of that I could be swayed to say B. I mean, I would personally put him lower, but I could be swayed to say B for that.
Yeah, but you've only played like barely 1 game. So it's like, it's kind of hard to be like, if you haven't really seen it, and that's why I'm saying, I'm not trying to make a case that he's an A guy or whatever, that like all of us know who he is and should, but I mean,
no, I think it's not to be discounted, the iconic factor of it too. Cause I mean, Assassin's Creed is a massively huge selling franchise. And I think that like, there is an echelon of characters like Master Chief, Mario, and Sonic that are so recognizable that like non-gamers would know who they are. I think Ezio, to be fair to you, would be in that second tier of like, you probably wouldn't be able to show your grandma and have her know who Ezio is.
No.
But like you would show somebody who's like maybe tangentially into video games and be like, oh, I don't know his name, but I know that's Assassin's Creed. That's
the Assassin's Creed guy, right? Yeah, the white robe, the white hooded robe with the wrist blades and the red. I mean, that's like, everyone kind of knows what that is if you're our age or older. I think even like my nephew Riley, who's never played any of those games, would know who that is. At least would know it's Assassin's Creed. And he's also a great character. And he's kind of the only great. He's kind of the only great protagonist to come out of the whole series. There's other decent ones, but he's like the only one that everyone still who likes the series still goes back and be like, still hasn't been better than that.
I know. Maybe we'll have to go back to that. At
someday.
Because like I said, I barely remember Ezio, so I'm kind of going off of like 10-15 years of memory.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So Okay. But moving through, next we got Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. So this is an interesting one. This is an interesting character because I think it's one of the few that's like not on that Mario Sonic level, but he is a mascot.
He's
I
up.
mean,
He's close, but not quite.
I think isn't he in the NetherRealm logo
Yeah.
now?
He basically is the NetherRealm logo.
Yeah. So I mean, just for that fact alone, I mean that probably puts him in A for me. Maybe a B. I could probably see him doing as well, but like, I don't know. When you reach the point of iconicness with like a brand or like a franchise, like Master Chief or something is for Xbox, like I don't know, you get catapulted into a different like echelon for me. So yeah, I think Scorpion's just pure badass. I mean, Sub Zero would maybe be the only other one that you could throw in there.
What do you think, Kyle?
Love me some Scorpion. He's just kind of synonymous with Mortal Kombat, right? I think that when we're talking about iconic moments and iconic characters, I don't think that out of all of these characters, anybody has a more iconic one-liner in all of gaming. Everybody knows what "Get Over Here" is,
Dude.
Like everybody knows it. So, yeah, I mean that alone, that one line might even just put him up quite a few spots. I think that the art style with him is incredible, right? There's not a lot of depth when it comes to character, right? So you have to consider that. But I think that when you look at the model, like who he represents, his, just the armor, the color of his armor, when he has that thing fly out of his wrist and he says, "Get over here," all those things.
Skeleton face.
Yeah. If you ask somebody who didn't know anything about Mortal Kombat, if they know what Mortal Kombat is, I guarantee you they think of Scorpion, right? So
for sure,
that's the one thing that might actually stick to their brain. This is tough. I don't know. I want to hear what you guys say on like placement on this, because this is really hard for me, because I think that when we're talking about just pure status and icon status, obviously I think Master Chief has a notch above him. But again, when it comes to the depth of the character, we're talking about the same thing here, right? So does that put him B?
Yeah, it's funny because I agree with you on that. I mean, it's almost making me think like, God, do we need to put Master Chief at S then? And that's kind of crazy for me to say, but the reason I say that is because when I look at what we have for A and B, Scorpion holds up on multiple levels, I think, because he is iconic. He's instantly recognizable. No matter how they change him in every game, it's Scorpion. He also has the iconic one-liners, right? He's got the "Get Over Here," and even in the original 90s movie, when he does say it, when he's fighting Johnny Cage in hell, and Johnny Cage is on the platform above him, and he kicks the support beam out to bring Johnny Cage down to him. He goes, "Get down here!" I'm like, fuck yes, dude. Fuck yes. He is so badass. And then if you go another layer, like super fan, like I am, his lore is actually super cool. Like
it is very cool.
He's a Japanese ninja in the Middle Ages, the feudal ages, and he gets betrayed, and his entire family is murdered and his clan is murdered, and then he is tricked into thinking that it's Sub-Zero and basically makes a deal with the devil to become a immortal kind of specter or revenant to forever seek vengeance against those that wronged him. And this whole time he's going after Sub-Zero and that clan, even though it wasn't him that did it. And it was actually the devil that he made the deal with. Like the lore is actually very cool, and his story is sick too. Obviously, I mean, it stops after that. There's not a whole lot of characterization, but the lore is cool. He looks cool. He's got cool one-liners, and he's definitely one of the faces of gaming. I think I'd go A personally. I agree with you, Kyle. I do think Master Chief is like a notch above, but we don't have like A.5, and I don't think you can put Master Chief in S, and I do think that Scorpion is higher than everyone we have in B. So it's like this weird kind of...
Yeah. Okay. B it is, I think.
I would go A, I think, yeah.
A, I think it is.
Can we let's make a concession here then? If we put him A, then I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking maybe Miles should not be here.
Yeah, Miles I thought could have gone in B. Like
that was my
Peter
argument,
Parker,
but I just didn't want to be the person, just because it's like my own personal thing about, you know.
You want us to move him, Kyle?
Because the thing is, like, we're going to end up having everybody on A or B at some point.
Well, that's just the natural, like.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the natural progression of the list. Honestly, you wouldn't be making a fair list. I feel like if you didn't have most of the people in like A or B.
that's fair. We can leave it as is. That's fine then.
All right.
Next one.
Female Shepherd from Mass Effect. So again, kind of like Female V for me. I have not had a Female Shepherd run through of Mass Effect yet. So my experience with it is that I could only assume I would make the same choices as I did on my male shepherd on the female one, but maybe with a better performance. So I'm not sure.
Are you saying this is FemShep, or are you just pick the female picture and we're just talking about the whole character in either way? Because I didn't make the same distinction. Like for me with Cyberpunk, there was an incredibly important that was the female V. It had to be female V.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know that I feel that way about Shepard.
I would almost argue that I think that the voice actress is better for the female Shep. But when I think about Commander Shepard, it's the male Shepard. Like,
I'm just kind of putting them both together. I think they're both.
Yeah.
Because I
kind of could go
Kyle.
either way with it. It was honestly just I looked up like a Commander Shepard portrait, and the female one was there, so I was like, all right, well, just use that one.
And I'm pretty far into a playthrough as Fem Shep, and she's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
She, like you said, Kyle, she might even be a little better. But I also do hear the male Shepard voice, and I will always kind of consider that. I think they're both. I think they're both really good characters, and I do. And this might just be my own personal bias, but I feel like I like the friendly male Shepard and the renegade female Shepard a lot. Like I think the actors do a good job in those routes in that way, which is kind of an odd thing, but.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go B. I think
B. I think's fair.
How do you guys feel? Because it's not a reflection on the game as a franchise, right? Because because Dead Space, Isaac said a C, and Dead Space is an S tier game, right? So it's like it doesn't. We know that Mass Effect is all of one of our absolute favorite game franchises ever.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen if someone wants something different.
No, I think B is totally fair. And like I said, I haven't done a FemShep run, so it's hard for me to say. But
Kyle, you on board with that?
Yeah. I would even almost be okay with C, but you guys are both B. The only reason why I would say that is just because Mass Effect to me is much more about everybody else.
I agree.
And
I agree.
I think that, for me personally, Commander Shepard is an iconic role, like similar to like Master Chief, in my opinion. I know that's not popular opinion, right? I'm just saying from my perspective.
Yeah.
But he's just, he or she, they're just kind of the figurehead of the game that I love so much. And when I think about the game, it's the cast of surrounding characters 100%.
It is. Yeah. I'd be okay with C as well. I mean, either way.
Okay. I think I've been convinced then. C sounds good.
Yeah, I think they're more of an insert character than female V.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little more room in there, which makes it a little harder to define. But I wanted to get it in there because Commander Shepard, just the title, is a huge deal, right? So the character that exists I wanted them on the list.
Right. All right. Next up, we got Nathan Drake from Uncharted. This is an interesting one. I feel like Nathan Drake is kind of like a newer age Lara Croft, and I feel like his characterization in the first 3 games I think is solid, but he kind of has more of that action hero feel to me in the first 3, where I think he's just like super badass and like there's not really much else that's behind the surface other than that. In the In the fourth game, I think that they definitely do a better job of like adding some more humanization in there. I think that that's definitely a Neil Druckmann,
dude.
You know,
you read my mind.
So that's why I specifically used Uncharted 4 Nathan Drake in there. So I don't know. It's kind of one of those ones where, like, if we're talking 1 through 3, I'd probably put him personally at like a C.
Yes.
But 4, I think, could catapult him into a B for me.
I don't need to say anything. You literally said word for word everything that I was going to say if you hadn't said it first. 1 through 3 is C. 4 is B for sure. He's a really good character, but like you get to the end of 4 and you're like, I never knew I could feel these things about Nathan Drake.
Right.
He's sort of like he's like a James Bond almost. Like not they're not similar. Like James Bond is more suave and confident and like, but just in the sense of like they're just sort of like this handsome everyman, and they get through everything, and it's just kind of like he's like murdering hundreds of people every time, and it's like it just doesn't matter. They don't really think about his character like too deeply. He's funny, he's sarcastic, he's witty. He's fun, he's always saying "aw crap," which is funny.
Yeah.
He's charming. But then you get to the fourth game and you're like, whoa, okay, all right, Nathan Drake is now a human.
Right.
Like a true human character. So that makes me want to bring him up to B. But
Kyle, what about you?
This one thoughts? No, I have to defer. I haven't played the Uncharted series.
Oh, it would be so fun to do. That would be such
it looks like a really fun game. So I will defer to you guys on this one.
Yeah, they hold up. They hold up well.
I think B is a good placement. Definitely got to play through those, Kyle. They're awesome.
We will.
I played
this
through
is
them
what
for the
the
first
show's
time.
for.
I played through them for the first time a couple of years ago, and we did episodes on them for TSG, and they were awesome. It was so fun to play through.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is going to be Doom Guy. Sorry, I'm trying to run through them a little bit faster.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do
you want to just start? Do you want to just like go through, say what letter we each think, and then if we agree, we put them in there, have a 1 sentence remark, and move on. If we don't agree, then we'll have a conversation.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Doom Guy from Doom. I'm going to say C or B.
C for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think he's that.
It's gonna be a D for me.
D, okay. Well then, so we're on the same. Okay, I was wondering if you were gonna say B, and I'm just like, he's basically Master Chief, but he's not as well known.
Is his name literally Doom Guy? Because that sounds like a D.
Or the Doom Slayer.
I mean, he is fucking badass, and he kind of like, and he also sort of like, I feel like Master Chief was sort of like inspired by him.
Yeah.
And then the new version, the one of that picture, is sort of inspired by Master Chief. So it's like this weird, like,
yeah, it's like a Resident Evil Dead Space situation.
Yes, right. Where it's like you have Resident Evil, which inspires Dead Space, and then Resident Evil looks at Dead Space and be like, we should remake our games like Dead Space. Yeah, that's just what it's like. C is fine with me. I honestly, I maybe even D, because are we really putting him next to Commander Shepard, Isaac Clarke, and Aloy? Like, those are all like actual characters with dialogue and emotions and names.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Cream Lord. Every character he picks, we put down a D. I think he's D, man.
I mean, like I said, it's not like we hate all of the games, like any of the games we're putting them in. But
I feel like, though, if you you do the whole New York thing where you show people a picture of that, I bet like a lot of people think that that's Master Chief.
Probably. More than likely.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I think he's like in the same grouping with like Master Chief, Scorpion, where it's like not a lot of depth to the character, but then you're really lacking the iconic symbol,
the look
of the character.
Because the game that's most popular and most iconic is the original, and that didn't really have. He wasn't really a character. Like, you didn't really see him ever.
Yeah.
Other than his little face at the bottom of the screen.
For sure. All right.
This is all you, Taylor.
Cool. Next one up is Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. This one's interesting. I won't go into too much detail. I think Cloud is an interesting character, but I think he's kind of a vehicle for the rest of the game. And kind of like for several of these other characters, the cast that's around him, I think, makes him better than he actually is. But, I mean, Final Fantasy VII, one of the most iconic video games of all time. Not a ton of dialogue to speak of in the original game to go off of for Cloud, but certainly in the remake, I think they do a little bit better job of characterizing him. So I think I'd put him in a C tier.
Yeah, cool. I have nothing.
I
I have
approve.
absolutely no idea.
I trust you.
Yeah, totally trust you.
Yeah.
All right. Next one up is Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. This one I would probably go in a B tier. I think she's pretty iconic. Definitely not as iconic as Leon, who is also on this list, but I think she's one of the original Stars members from the first game, and she's just badass. I think that's like one of the best parts about her. She's in like a super elite team of soldiers with like Chris Redfield and some other characters. So don't like the way she was handled in the remake of 3, so that kind of sucks. But
That's my only experience with her. So
yeah,
I didn't dislike her.
No, I was gonna say she's not bad in the third game necessarily. I just think that the things that she's doing are very different from the original 3, and for that reason, like I love the redesign, the way she looks. I like her as a character sort of in the third game, but I don't know, just the third game just rubs me the wrong way. I have to replay it at some point. So I'd be okay with maybe like a C on this one too.
Yeah, I feel like if you're not the most iconic person from the franchise, that's going to kind of weigh you down a little bit. And the fact that she's in the first game and she doesn't get a chance to be, it's hard to, I don't know. I need to play the first game first of all. So, but it just feels like she hasn't been around as much either. Like they haven't brought her back. At least I haven't played 9, so maybe she's in 9, but they haven't really brought her back yet. Like, I feel like, I think probably C, but I wouldn't fight you if you wanted to put her at B.
All right. C it is. Joel Miller from The Last of Us.
S.
I was going to say A, but
Yeah?
maybe I could say S too.
I just like what about his character is worse than Ellie's, as far other than like you might like Ellie more, but that doesn't.
I think Ellie's a more well-rounded character, and I think as far as Joel is concerned, I think he's not a good person, and I think that makes him a good character, the fact that he's not a good person. But I don't know if I could put him in the same tier as Ellie with the arc that he has. So
I think they're synonymous. I think they're so tied together, and the two of them have such a massive impact on one another. And the story, Ellie would not be an S tier character if it wasn't for Joel and what Joel does for her. The two of them are so important and they're both so well written and so well performed that they create each other. Like, they are The Last of Us, and they are the sort of the example for this story that's really been told before Last of Us. I mean, it's not like a super original story. And I think that's what makes it so impressive, is that those characters stand out so much. And his decision at the end of the first game to basically doom all of humanity to save someone he loves, I think he's an incredibly tragic character, and unfortunately an incredibly relatable one. And I just don't really see a difference in quality of writing or performance between him or Ellie. And I don't think the other one can really exist without the other. And so I'd have them both at S.
Okay.
What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, it's not a question for me. It's S tier.
All right. S it is.
I just think that the only thing I'll piggyback off of that is I just think that Ellie and Joel are just kind of almost like, when we think about the story, just kind of like the same thing for me. Like that they just go together. Like, in my opinion.
We didn't get Abby in here. I didn't think about that.
Oh, that's fair.
All right. John Marston up next from Red Dead Redemption 1. let's see. I don't think he's as good of a character as Arthur Morgan necessarily. I
No.
think that he does have a really cool story in Red Dead Redemption 1 and a very good ending to his story, but I think I'd probably put him in a B tier.
Yeah, you could make an argument for A or B. I think if before Arthur Morgan and Red Dead Redemption 2, I probably would have been like OA because the first game has a great story and he's put in a very interesting position.
Yeah,
But the story is nowhere near as impactful as that of Arthur Morgan. So I feel like with the existence of that, it kind of changes the way I look at it. And I would agree with B because he is still a great character.
for sure. I'm gonna run through these here too, Kyle. So if you have, there's some where I assume I don't know if you have a ton of experience with it.
No, I
so
haven't played it, so I'll go with you guys on that.
I was gonna say I'll move the ones over, but if you have a comment, let me know and we could stop. All right, next is Kratos from God of War. This is another situation for me where I feel like the character of the original games is definitely different from the reboot. If we're talking the character of God of War 1 through 3, you'd probably put him in D tier. But I think God of War reboot.
You got to get the mascot icon thing is important. He's one of the
That's
biggest,
true.
most recognizable. The bald Kratos with the red tattoo on his face. I mean,
Yeah.
he is like a major PlayStation face. Like, I feel like even if it was just the three of them, you got to give respect to just the gravity of how big those games were and how they moved
For
consoles.
sure.
Like, I wouldn't have put him at D, but I know what you're saying as far as like characterization goes.
Well, I was gonna say like it would be a range for me, like probably D through B.
I'd
if
put
you're
him at
talking 1
B
through 3.
for the first three.
Reboot, I would maybe even see about putting him in A.
Yeah.
But
I'd be totally because he's got both, right? He has the mascot icon, like face of a franchise, face of a console brand, like Master Chief, and he has from the next group of games, he's got the like really interesting character development. So he kind of brings both. It's like a 1-2 punch for Kratos.
Yeah, I'm just
Double
going
whammy.
off of that newer God of War. Not even Ragnarok yet, because I'm still trying to fall in love with that game. But just that story alone for Kratos, I think that it's like one of those things where he starts off as like a typical kind of like that Master Chief feel where he's got a few one-liners here and there.
Gruff.
Yeah. There's not much to him, but then like they did such a beautiful job of like revealing more and like understanding that why he was that way. And then he starts to open up and you start to learn who he is more as a person rather than just a god and a warrior, right? I think he's just got such a cool story in that game. So for me, it would be A tier, but I'm not going to throw
I'm
up my
going
hands.
Yeah, I think
Fellow Baldy,
I think
he's
he's
got to
an
be A. All right. Next up is Link from The Legend of Zelda. This is an interesting one. There's been a lot of different incarnations of Link. I think I don't know, in my opinion, I've always thought he might actually be a bigger mascot for me for Nintendo than even Mario is to a certain degree.
or equal.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would probably put Link at probably an A. I feel like seems solid.
Really, I'm surprised.
I was gonna go S, man.
Yeah.
I think he's like he's on the Mount Rushmore of video games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't you
for me,
think?
like I don't even play the games other than I played Ocarina of Time when I was really young. But just for me, like when it comes to game, I can't think of other than Mario, like you said, I can't think of a more iconic video game character.
Yeah,
Good point.
I would even say Master Chief's not even on his level.
I would agree. I think you got to separate. I mean, the Legend
Yeah.
of Zelda. I do think if you the whole New York thing, if you were to go in the streets of New York and show them a picture, I do think a lot of people would be like, "Oh, that's Zelda," because they don't know
Yeah,
that the main. But the fact that they would just see the green hood, the blonde hair, the elf ears, the sword, they would go, "Oh, Zelda, Nintendo, Zelda."
Right.
yeah.
I think he's got to be an S tier. Just that's how iconic he is.
Absolutely. All right. Next up is Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil. This feels like an A to me.
He's so he's so bad, but like in the best way possible, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's like Scorpion level. I mean, I wouldn't be like, part of me thinks maybe pre-remake and pre-Requiem, I probably would have argued for B,
Yeah.
because I don't think he was a super recognizable. I don't think he was like, I think he was like iconic for the hardcore gamers, but a lot of
Mhm.
people wouldn't know. But after the remakes with 2 and 4 and now Requiem, I mean, I think he's like developed and garnered an entire new stratosphere of fandom.
Oh yeah.
And he is now one of the biggest characters and faces in games right now. So I have no problem with A.
Perfect.
I'll go with you guys on this. You guys know I would not play this.
I can't wait for you to play Requiem.
No, I think you would. I think you'd like Resident Evil 2 because you can shoot and defend yourself.
Okay, yeah.
And 4 is like an action game, like straight up.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you'd
awesome.
like those. Yeah, I think you'd like those games. I think you could
Okay.
if you can do Alien Isolation, you could definitely do Resident Evil. Alien Isolation's way
Oh,
scary.
100%, man.
Yeah, you've
Alien
already
Isolation's
beaten
definitely
one of the
scarier.
scariest games of all time, dude.
Oh my god, I did not. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. It was not enjoyable in the moment, is what I'll say.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think those games are as scary as and just because you're so powerless in Isolation.
Gosh, yeah. Don't remind me.
All right. Next up here is Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell.
This is a good one.
I've only played the
put
first
this one
like.
in?
This is Cream Lord. Cream Lord
Nice,
put this one.
good one.
D. No, I'm kidding.
D. Yeah.
Greenmore, put the shit in.
Oh, now I know it's a D.
Fucking F.
Create another.
Oh, no.
No, so for Splinter Cell, I've only played like 4 hours of the first one, so I don't know anything about Sam Fisher, so hard for me to say.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I've played like 2 or 3 of them, but I've never beaten any of them. It's one of those franchises I really want to go back to because I love stealth games.
Me too.
But yeah, B or C?
I was gonna say I'd be comfortable putting him at B. It sounds like his story sounds like it's pretty compelling in the newer games, like Splinter Cell Blacklist and stuff from like the 360 era. Sounds like there's some cool storylines going in there. Like I've heard a little bit about kind of what happens in those games, so it sounds like it's cool. But yeah, it's a franchise I desperately need to get to at some point.
Yeah, I love this franchise, so I'm okay with Sam Fisher being a B because he's pretty iconic for me, and I think that when it comes to this kind of genre of being a special agent, you know, when we think about like the 007s or, you know, stuff like that, like to me, Splinter Cell is like my favorite type. Or even if we're talking about Metal Gear Solid, right? I think that's kind of, you know, we're talking about similar field. Sam Fisher's kind of my guy when it comes to that type of game.
And the 3 green lights with the I mean, just that alone is like an iconic thing and deserves B. While you do this one, I'll be back in like 1 minute. Go ahead and keep going. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so like you mentioned, Kyle, the next one up is Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. I don't know. This one to me feels like an A or a B tier. I personally, Metal Gear is one of my favorite franchises, so I have to kind of resist the urge to put him in A just based on the cool factor alone. And I love those games quite a bit. I think Guns of the Patriots, the 4th Metal Gear game, does a really good job of kind of characterizing Solid Snake in that game. It's found out that he's a clone basically of like a super soldier from the Cold War era that you play as actually in Metal Gear Solid 3. So
nice.
The 3rd one takes place in the 60s, and so either the 60s or the 70s, I can't remember. And Solid Snake in the one that's pictured here is a super soldier of him, so he ages faster as a result, which is why he's an old man in the 4th game. So I think he's just really cool, and you know, he's not going to win any awards for, you know, best actor or best performance or anything, but he's just got a lot of cool iconic lines, kind of like Master Chief, you know, like Metal Gear launches nukes, you know, like just a
Yeah,
badass
yeah.
90s action hero. So
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know. I would put him at,
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'll put him at A or B.
I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm gonna let you decide on that. I do think that he's very iconic. He's pretty up there when it comes to the look and the style. You know, I think you kind of have to be a bit of a gamer to recognize it, right? But if you are a pretty avid gamer, you know who he is, right? You see that look and the gear that he wears, and you know what game it is, right? So he's pretty iconic. I played Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, when I was really young. Had a really good time with that game. So yeah, I'll let you decide. I'm okay with A or B on this, because yeah, he is kind of similar. He's got like kind of that badass like Chuck Norris vibe, but you know, the games were pretty iconic.
Rip.
So
Right.
yeah, rest in peace.
A or B, we're thinking for Solid Snake, Ian.
I defer completely. I have no.
A.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. And Metal Gear Solid is one of the most famous.
I think if you're gonna put Leon, I think you need to put him up there.
Yeah.
Right. Geralt of Rivia, our next one from The Witcher. This feels like an A to me.
This feels like an A.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty clear A. I think the reason I can't go S is because he is an adaptation from a book. So that's kind of like, I don't know that he's like an S tier gaming character because he's really only known for one of the 3 games already. And
if we're going off of the books, and I haven't read all of them, obviously. I mean, Geralt is an S tier character, but
that's what I'm saying. It's like,
yeah.
The fact that it's like we're talking about the games, and the character's not even original to a game. He's from something else.
Yeah,
and being adapted, like it's kind of like I don't know. I don't think I can go S, but he's definitely an A.
Yeah,
no doubt
for sure. All right, here's one that I think you might have a lot to say about, Kyle. Henry of Skalitz from Kingdom Come Deliverance. Such a good game. One of those ones though where you might have to separate a little bit, like the series, how great the games are from him actually as a character, because it is one of those situations where you are choosing the outcomes for an established character. He does have dialogue, he does speak, but it's kind of like the player is acting as the director of the movie that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
The first game, I think he's probably like a C and D character maybe, and I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 probably puts him at A or B depending on some of the choices you make. God, there's so many good scenes though. There's definitely some A worthy scenes in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
I really like the story in the first one, but I do agree he's a bit more of a kind of a chess piece in all of it, right? He's not. But like in the second game, he definitely stands out as more of a character. The only thing I will say about the fact you do have some sort of autonomy when it comes to your decision making, right? But ultimately, there's very lengthy cutscenes that draw a very clear picture of who Henry is.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you start making these decisions, kind of similar to what you were saying earlier about female V, Ian, you start making these decisions knowing who you've gotten to know in these very lengthy cutscenes. And it's not even really like a choice anymore. It's like, I'm not going to commit crime and like murder people on the streets. Like that's not who Henry is.
Yeah, if the vocal performance is good enough and the story is good enough, like it's kind of hard to not start to feel, you get a feeling like from the voice, almost from the voice actor of like, I kind of know who this person, like if I'm watching a show, you're just kind of being like, this is what I would want you to do based on what I know about you and what I've learned about you, spending time with you and knowing your history and knowing like all that. So obviously I haven't played, I played a little bit of the first game and that's it. So I will completely defer to you guys.
I'm going to say A.
Damn. Okay. Man, okay. It makes me, I want to play this.
Dude, there's two dialogue exchanges in the second one too. That's like, oh my God, it's so good. Like,
yeah. Henry's a really, really cool character. And I also think that like I said, the cutscenes make it very clear about who he is as a person, his background story. So like, as you're making these decisions, you're pretty informed on what Henry would want. And he's a really good guy. It's hard not to like him. I would put him in A tier, to be honest. I think, especially with how he develops in the second game, he really kind of comes out of his shell quite a bit. Especially, which makes sense because he has pretty humble beginnings. So it makes sense that he's not really in the first game. He doesn't really step out and like, distinguish himself a whole lot, because he's just kind of like a small town like farm boy who, doesn't have anything to his name. So like, why would he be this like outstanding character?
Right.
He's still learning who he is,
Yeah, and the second game they just make him so like charming and like dumb, but also like extremely brave. Like he has kind of like a himbo thing kind of going on,
Yeah.
So, oh god, so good.
It's hard not to like him though.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, just like a good looking dumb guy,
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Next up is Batman Bruce Wayne from the Arkham games. This one feels like a C to me. Not as well written and emotionally like resonant as Peter Parker's Spider-Man. But a cool character in his own right in the series is really good. So I would say a C tier.
Yeah, I feel like we've developed what C is, which is to say they are by no means bad characters. It's just that they are not necessarily the reason that you end up playing the game solely, or the thing that you would recommend for. Like if you would recommend any of these games, it's probably not because of these characters necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's perfect for him. It's like, yeah, I mean, he's Batman. They got the same actor from the show. It's great, but he's just stoic and knows what he's doing. And he's Batman. It's like there's nothing really. Yeah. They don't really go anywhere with him. Maybe Arkham Knight they start to play with stuff a little more, but
yeah,
it never gets to be like some revelatory character experience. It's all about being Batman.
Yeah, no, C I think is a fair spot for him. All right. Next up is Ciri from The Witcher. This one's interesting, I think, because you haven't played a Ciri yet.
Well, you do. You do play Ciri in Witcher 3.
Oh, you do
several
That's
times.
Right.
That was like my only exception because I was like, you do play as her.
That's right.
She's kind of the focus of the whole story too, so you can justify it both narratively
for sure.
And then
yeah. I would say she's. Oh, sorry.
No, please go.
I was gonna say so to me she's more interesting than Geralt. I think that she has an interesting interplay with like her story with her being the daughter of the Emperor, and I think that it's a really interesting character arc to see her go from kind of like a scared little girl to like this like badass Witcher with like these amazing powers. So can't wait to see what happens in Witcher 4 with her. I don't know. I would say maybe like an S tier to maybe like an A tier.
Yeah, she's one of my absolute favorites. I hope that like if that CGI trailer that we got for like the reveal for Witcher 4 is like anything to go by, there's no way she's not going to be an S.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe you can't say S just because you don't spend the majority of the time playing her. But I think she's the single most interesting character in like all of the Witcher games,
for sure,
and maybe even the books. I mean, I've read the first 2 books, and she's only in some of it, right? But what do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at with it. She's the most interesting character in Witcher, as a whole. The thing is like I feel like the jury is still out on. Is she S tier? Because the reality is like I have a high opinion of her as well. Like I think she's the most interesting character in one of the best games ever made. What the thing is like she's also kind of technically a character that's kind of in the background and somebody that Geralt is either that's just trying to hunt down and try to finally get a hold of to be able to protect her, right? Because she's in danger. She's very mysterious through a lot of the game, right? Which plays into the interesting part. But, we could, not that this is going to happen. We're talking about CD Projekt Red. This is going to be a good game. but she could come out to be a not so great character in Witcher 4, and that would change everything, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it still hasn't been told whether or not she's S tier, but I'm pretty sure she's going to be. I just, for that reason, I have to say A in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I'm not against that. I think I think they're gonna kill it, and I think she will be S.
Me
But
too.
we can
Yeah.
wait and keep her at A for now.
All right, perfect. So next up is Galen Merrick, Starkiller from Force Unleashed. This one feels like a D for me.
He's aight.
Yeah.
Forgettable. I mean, I like that the actor who portrays him. And
I love Sam Witwer.
Yeah, Sam Witwer's
So
awesome.
good.
He voices Darth Maul and all the animated stuff, and he does a great job. Sam Witwer's a good actor, but it's just not a super memorable character, and it's not canon anymore. And
Yeah.
it's just like
A little bit too much of a Mary Sue.
just
I
kind of
feel
a
like,
bald.
too.
He's just like this another. He's like another
Edgelord.
angry bald guy from the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Right.
This isn't a Cream Lord pick, is it?
No.
Dude, that would be so funny if it was. Yeah, I'm cool with D.
D. Sorry, Starkiller. All right. Next up is Zagreus from Hades 1. This one's tough. I mean, Zagreus has kind of a little bit of a character, but
Yeah.
I didn't beat Hades 1.
He's funny.
He's funny. Yeah, he's kind of
Sarcastic.
suave also. I don't know. I would say maybe a B for me.
I feel like he fits in with the C characters really well. He's just a good vehicle for what makes the game great, but he's not what makes the game great.
For sure.
Like the
That's
higher
a
on
good
the
one.
tier you go, the more important you are to the game's enjoyability.
Yeah, I agree. I have a weird feeling too. I haven't played 80s 2, but I also feel like the main character of 2, I forget her name. They probably put a lot more time into her writing and characterization too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I defer to you guys on that one. I'm excited to play it though.
Oh, it's just such a fun
It's
game.
awesome, and
So
he's
good.
he's
Yeah.
good. It's well done. It's good performance, good writing.
All right. Next up
Ratchet.
is Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, iconic PlayStation franchise. I think this would also kind of go up with what you were saying earlier, Ian. Kratos is definitely like the face of PlayStation 2 in that generation. But I feel like honestly, right alongside him would be like Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter also.
Yeah.
So he has kind of a mascot appeal to him. I love
sure.
that original 3 or 4 Ratchet and Clank games, and the reboots are good too. Rift Apart was also really good as well. So I don't know. I'd probably say a solid B tier for me on this one.
I'm cool with B for him.
Yeah, the symbolism alone, I don't think he could be below B.
Yeah. All right. Finally, rounding on our list here is Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima. This one's really good, actually. I'm kind of glad you added him in here last minute, Kyle, because I was kind of sad that we weren't going to get him in here. I love Jin Sakai. I love Ghost of Tsushima. I think it's probably one of the best newer like PlayStation IP that's come out in a long time. I love that first game so much and so excited to play Ghost of Yotei. I don't know. I would say maybe A for me on this one.
Yeah.
Kyle?
No, I totally agree. This does feel like also one of those games where I do feel like the supporting cast is also really important for this story in this game. But I don't think that necessarily takes away as much from him. I think he's a really, really awesome character. I think that his character arc is incredible. The way, he starts off, really
Honorable and traditional.
yeah, engrossed in the samurai tradition, and then through the brutal war and the loss that he goes through, all the losses that he goes through, and like meeting allies in areas or like demographics that he wouldn't necessarily have expected, and then that changes him as a person. I love to see that growth. So yeah, for me, I think I would be comfortable with an A here. I also want to mention those last few scenes of the decisions that he has to make that that I personally stand by for him are very hard decisions to make and made me very emotional. This is one of the few games that I felt really emotionally tied to, especially the ending.
Yeah.
It was
Ending is so good.
It was hard for me to get through. I remember hitting pause after the cutscene before, engaging in battle and just being like, I don't want to do this,
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do this. And I haven't had there's
man.
very few games that have made me feel that emotionally invested on it.
That was awesome.
What a great
Yeah.
fucking game.
Yeah.
Ian, what are you thinking?
I think all the arguments for A is good, and then I look at also really quickly. Didn't we decide to move Miles from A to B, or was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we can move him to B.
I just wasn't sure. I just couldn't remember if that was. I thought I remember us saying that at one point.
Yeah, I think we might have.
I like in a vacuum. I'm like, yeah, definitely A. But then I look at all the characters at A. I'm like, is Jin Sakai on the same level as Ciri and Henry and Geralt and Snake and Leon and Kratos and Scorpion and V and Master Chief? I don't. And it makes me. I look at Mael a little bit. I'm like, that's more ignorance because I haven't played the whole game. I'm like, I don't even. I feel like we've started to figure out the balance between performance and icon and like find them. So I guess you could say female V and Jin Sakai are probably and maybe Henry are all the closest together if they were on the A tier. But I almost feel like all the other characters on that A tier line, Mael, Jin, V, and Henry are like a different version of A from Master Chief, Scorpion, Kratos, Leon, Snake, and Geralt. Like, I just feel like they're not quite to that level of like legendary characters. So there's like, we have a weird, like, A is kind of this strange dynamic happening where all the others seem to fit really well. Like S, no doubt. B, honestly, no doubt. C, I think we figured C out really well, and I think we're very confident in D. A is where I'm like, I feel like there needs to be something between A and B because it's like, I don't think Jin, Henry, or V actually, or Mael necessarily stand up to those other more because of the lack of iconic. But maybe that's just time.
So what you're really saying is Cream Lord's picks need to be F tier.
Move everything else down. No, I just. Do you guys feel that way? Like there's sort of like a level of.
Yeah, I think
it's also the difference of like what we're picking it by, right? Because I think if we specified the complexity of a character and just that on its own, and then the iconic characters, that would already, I think, fix the problem.
So
yeah, I almost think with the arguments
heavier, like how iconic they are,
well,
or how.
So I think the arguments we've made for Master Chief over the course of this whole thing might actually bump him into S tier.
I think so too. Like the more we talk about it,
because I think if you have Link in there, like
yes,
but my case was going to be this. The argument I was going to make for Jin to be an A would be that if I'm comparing him to the characters there that appear in one game and are just kind of like a one and done kind of story, I think his story is more compelling than V's is personally. And I also think that it probably rivals Mael's in terms of like just one character that's in one game and like that's all the story that you get with their exposure to it. I think it's right up there.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree.
Because in some of the other characters too, like they've built their iconic status because they appear in multiple games, whereas like there are some characters on there that are just like appear in that one game and it's like, wow, what an impact.
Cool. Okay. So Jin A, Master Chief S, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like that's fair because of what we keep saying. How do you feel? How do we feel about this?
I like this, honestly. This is solid. I like this.
I don't think there's a whole lot to argue with, honestly. I mean, maybe maybe there's one or two characters in here.
Yeah, there might be like a character or two that could go up a level or go down a level, and I wouldn't argue too much with it. But I actually think our S and A are like so solid. Like it's very hard for anybody to argue any differently.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I'm totally happy with it. And again, there's a caveat that I'm pretty sure Siri's going to be up in S tier.
I think so too.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we finish Witcher 4, that'll definitely be a change we would make to this list for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But we have to wait and see. To your point, you just never know what happens. Hell yeah!
All right.
Thanks for coming up with a great episode idea, Taylor. That was a ton.
Yeah,
of
that was
fun.
great.
We should do more of those. We should do more.
That's an easy 3 hours.
Yeah, dude, it's so easy. And that's because we spent the first while like just chatting about games and stuff. Maybe next time we do one of these, we'll kind of like skip out on that and get right into it. Just because
maybe I'll update my computer.
Well, if we're gonna do our new format too, also we'll have plenty to talk about, like what we're playing.
Oh
also.
yeah, we got to get Kyle up on that at some point. But awesome. Okay, well we're gonna kind of rush out of here, guys, because it's a lot later than normal. So thank you both for all of your contributions to this awesome episode. That was a total blast. I'm excited to do more of those someday. Sound off in the comments. This is the first time I've ever said that. Let's, where did we fuck up? Where did we
go wrong?
How did we insult you? I feel like I'm glad that I don't live in the same state as Cream Lord now, because I've just like insulted all of his.
He's gonna find you.
Characters
have gun. Will travel.
But other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking with us. We're super excited to see you next week. Hope you have a great, safe weekend, and we will see you all later.
See you guys. Stay safe.
Later, guys.